medical study on the effects of marijuana use confirms that everyone knows you're high and that you'll most likely never stop feeling like this.
Your parents know you're high. Your friends know you're high. Strangers on the street know you're high.
Welcome to Everyone Knows You're High. Hosted by Uncle Kalei.
You're gonna never come back, you know, all that stupid shit.
And Uncle Erik.
If I could retreat away.
Yeah, you should definitely try that.
This is forever. This is the new reality.
Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show.
Everyone knows you're high.
This episode is brought to you by Mills Nutrients.
Friendship joint.
Ooh, I love friendship joints. I love rolling joints and friendship. I love friendship.
I love smoking joints. What else? Go for it.
I don't really like smoking them, but I love rolling them. You know, one thing I also don't like is growing weed because it seems so cumbersome and difficult. Knowing what kind of nutrients and products to use, it can become cumbersome, like I said.
Cumbersome is the word for this commercial.
Whoa, wait a minute. This is some fire weed. Who grew this?
Yours truly.
Thought bubble.
Well, you can. If you come
You
by
can hear
our
my thoughts?
Yes.
Oh my God.
You know that, man. If you come by our shop, we can help you out. Mills pays the bills, man. That's all you need to know.
What shop?
Guru's Grow Supply.
Where?
It's in Pearl City.
Ooh.
Majestic Pearl City.
Another one of my favorite things. Pearl City. How long has Mills been providing these high quality nutrients for?
Premium nutrients for 30 years. I've been cracking at it for about 13, so yeah.
Which is pretty crazy because if you didn't know, he's only 14 years old.
Because I was one.
But cool. So I'm gonna roll this friendship joint to celebrate our friendship. I love friendship. And to celebrate our love for millsnutrients.com.
Definitely do it. Millsnutrients.com. Check them out. Mills pays the bills.
Can we do something? 1, 2, 3. Mills pays the bills. Start the show. Be sure to check out our other sponsors. Brutal Mars Arts for all your typography, letter, and illustration needs. Check them out on Instagram, Brutal Mars Arts. Hybrid Collective in beautiful Kaimuki. Check them out for all your heady pieces to your affordable pieces. Anything glassware needed, you can check out Jay at Hybrid Collective. Pakalolo Farmers, check out Auntie Farron and Uncle Ikaika for the best apparel you can find. Pakalolo Farmers on Instagram, check them out. And Print Shop Hawaii for all your printing needs, shirts, stickers, banners, and the like. All right, let's start the show for real this time. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Everyone Knows You're High, starring the Grow Guru.
Hello.
And myself, Uncle Erik, a.k.a. the White Yoshi. Joining us this week, we got Jay from Waialua in the house, in Auntie's garage, talking about bills, talking about the future of cannabis in Hawaii. So we're ready to get into it. Thank you to everybody who's joining us on Instagram Live, on YouTube Live. We appreciate you guys. And the guru is rolling the thankful joint, so we'll start the episode off with that as soon as he's ready. Hey, you guys don't even have your headphones on. I don't even have my headphones on, guys. What the fuck are we doing?
It was like such just flowing straight into this.
Jesus Christ.
Already tested
Now
the
I feel
iPhone,
locked
of
in. Here we go.
All right.
I think I got to start it again. No,
Oh, dog it. No, you sounded good, dude. Everyone heard you.
Cool.
Yeah, let's start this off, man. Thank you so much for coming out here, man. I know you've been busy, Drop of a hat, able to come down here and just talk about it. I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much for coming.
No problem at all. Can you hear me okay?
Bring that mic up. You can grab the stand, bring it close to you,
Yeah.
keep it up to your face.
So rule of thumb, we talk about shaka
How's
length.
that?
No more than a shaka length.
Shaka length.
The
As long
closer
as-
the closer the better. I mean,
Okay.
if
Yeah, I like to eat the microphone,
Yeah.
according to Eric.
yeah.
Okay. A little tongue.
Yeah,
All right. All right. We're
Just
good.
make it the shape of a penis.
All right.
Hell yeah, man.
Okay. What a way to start the
I was
episode.
with that. Yeah, so fucking bills coming out, a lot of confusion. People are getting tossed every which way, including myself. You know, I have views that I would want to see, and you know, the last podcast we did, the live at the committee meeting, community meeting, we kind of just like voiced our opinions on where we would want this to go, and you know, the future of cannabis. So, you know, that's cool. We get to elaborate on this tonight. People can chime in and talk about it from both lives. Full accessibility to everybody. We got to keep in mind though, like this is 90% opinion based right now. When we talk about the laws and the bills that's coming out, that's the factual shit, right? So everything after that it's opinion based because what people would want to see and what concerns that they would have, right? So we got to take that with a grain of salt. But answering the questions on as far as what we can see at practicality, you know what I mean? What the core values are in myself too, to explain to you guys, and what I would want the reflection of this legalization in cannabis to have on Hawaii and how we could benefit from it.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. And, you know, we were having this town meeting the other day. There was a lot of opinions, and I think that is, you know, that's what we kind of got to get away from. We've got to move in fast and furious and really come up with a plan that we can really, as the people of Hawaii, move forward and just pound the legislation, pound everybody, because there's no more time to waste. You know, it's happening right now, and if we don't give it to them, they're going to give us what they have, and that might not be what we want. You know what I mean? And I think that's a really big deal that we're going to start these community town meetings, and we really need to get to the what we have and what's available, and let's move forward really fast to bring in, you know, town people, town legislators, you know, town meetings all over the island. You know, that's really what we need. We need to get the people on board that are, you know, anti-cannabis. We need to understand, hey, there's a medical cannabis out here. There's this medicinal plant. If you guys can go along with the 2000, you know, the year 2000 Medical Cannabis Act, then we can move forward and really do some beautiful things for communities, for food, for housing. I mean, this plant's got so much capacity with what it can do for Hawaii. It's pretty astounding when you think about it. And when you get involved in it, you know, we're growers, right? And the more you get thrown in that world, the more you get fed in your brain of what's going on here and what really the capacities are coming from, you know, 16, 20-year-olds that were smoking joints going, hey, this is cool. You know what I mean? It's changed a lot, and there's a lot of really good capacity behind this medicinal herb. It's pretty beautiful.
And it's crazy because like when how we were brought up too is our home is number one, right? It's like how we treat our home. Malama Ka'aina is used a lot, right? And like even multicultural, right? You don't have to be Hawaiian to know that. Just growing up in Hawaii back in the day, you take care of your land. It kind of like that mentality went with our culture, and cannabis was part of that, where like no one was really bothering other people. You know what I mean? The uncles grew what they had to grow. They kept themselves alive. The Operation Green Harvest kind of fucking ruined that for everybody, right?
Right.
And that's where I want to see where like we've come from that to where this could be the number one contributor in our state as far as education, infrastructure, you know, a lot of things. And I used that one example in the meeting where tourism doesn't have to be our go-to for income. You know, cannabis will definitely alleviate that. You know, jobs will be created, but not only created in a abundance, but sustainable jobs, because this will not go anywhere.
Yeah, and really, what does tourism do for the local people? I mean, you know, there's a lot of money made in tourism, probably the biggest in the world, and yet you hardly ever see it draining back into the societies. There's just so much things happening in Hawaii with homelessness and poverty and West Side drama. You know, it just shouldn't be like that with that type of money coming in here from the tourism industry. It's insane, you know what I mean? And so I think, you know, this is something that we have to take hold of. We can't control the tourism, but we can definitely control the route this cannabis avenue takes and take us back to our roots, our Malama, where you guys all started, right? That's where we want to be. We want to be back in that era where, like, wow, we're selling weed to each other, we're making money, and we're having fun, and we're fishing, and we're surfing, and it's no longer, there's no problem here. This is just a medicinal plant. We're having fun with it, you know?
Yeah.
That's where we need to be back to, you know what I mean? And I think that's really what we're all trying to get to is really, let's move this plant far away from law enforcement, far away from scheduled drugs as possibly can, and let's get back to what we do, agriculture, and living on the land and making a life out of it, you know?
And it gives us an opportunity to keep the money in Hawaii. We don't have to export our money, right? And this will benefit tourists altogether. It won't take away food off of their table. If anything, it will stimulate the image that they're highly exploiting anyway. You know what I mean? And I hate to be this guy, but it's time for the locals to exploit the tourists. You know what I mean? Like, we have this cultural appropriation of the image we need to portray to these people coming in, and we have to act accordingly. Now it's like, hey, you know what? Fuck that. You're going to buy a herb, at least.
Yeah, and I don't even think you're exploiting them. What you're doing is you're giving them the mana, the energy to be like, take this tour with us, man. This is the beautiful thing.
Very optimistic of you, but
I mean, you know, when tourists start understanding the strains from Hawaii and the people from Hawaii and the history of cannabis in Hawaii, it just brings so much compassion to you. You know what I mean? You're just like, holy shit, I never knew that. You know, I was having stories with, you know, we talk about Operation Green Harvest. I was just having stories with Fat Cat Seeds from out in Martha's Vineyard. Do you know they went through the same type of Operation Green Harvest as we did? Huh? It was happening all over the place.
It was a model that Hawaii adapted, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it was happening all over. Operation Green Harvest was happening all over the world. So it was pretty amazing.
It's very unfortunate the genetics that could have and would have come out of Hawaii during that time period, because people were growing heavy and they're getting busted heavy. Yeah. So like genetics, and they were storing it, you know, and they were hoarding it and they're keeping it to themselves. So it'd be interesting to see if that didn't take place. What kind of potential would cannabis have now, historically, you know? Yeah,
and I think, you know, I think even with all that drama, there's still plenty of genetics here in Hawaii that are just, you know, I mean, I keep talking about the infamous White Widow from Big Island. I mean, that's still...
The Dirty Widow, man.
That's still one of my favorites, and it's still outrageous. You know, every time you smoke a joint of that stuff, and talking about smoking and strains, you have to reset your palate, man. You're like, whoa, 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 what was that? You know what I mean? Yeah. It's very, you know, antsy and uppy.
It's an eye-opener, too. Yes. And it's crazy, like, those guys in Puna, they've held on to that strain, and it's a highly moldable strain, but they made it work. Yeah. And it's in the market out there, and people are breeding with it, and it's like, fuck yeah, man. I appreciate that. You know, the old rope-a-dope, when something's given to you, you know, it's like slacky guitar, right? An untuned guitar, we learn to make beautiful music out of it. You're giving us a strain that's going to mold. We'll figure out a way to acclimate it. You know?
And, you know, and here you go again, Kalei. It's like, it's just like talking about slacky guitar and what you guys grew up with. Nobody knows this stuff, right? The tourists don't know this stuff. Half of us who have moved here 15, 20 years are just learning a lot of this stuff to really understand the whole history of being a child in Hawaii and growing up, and how really connected to the land it is. It's really a super beautiful experience that most of us mainlanders never got to see. You know, we never got to see that kind of stuff, you know, unless you grew up in the South or something like that. But we were always, you know, a lot of that was taken away from us as mainlanders to be able to grow up on the land and be part of the land, and music and hula for you guys, you know, a lot of that was taken away from a lot of us people in the mainland. And so we're getting to relive it again and really find our roots, you know, so. But yeah, I'm excited to be here and talk about some bills, and, you know, we can do whatever you want. You know, I think there is definitely, I think, you know, the whole, the 5-card limit and, you know, the caregiver thing is definitely worth, you know, just kind of jabbing at real quick and explaining to everybody where that came from, what it is today, and where we're going with it. I think that's super important, you know what I mean? And that might even garner some really good questions. So,
totally.
Yeah.
I'll kick off this thank you joint, or this grateful joint, right now, and I'll hand it to Erik. If you want to hit it, you can hit it. Yeah. If you don't, just hold it and tell us what you're thankful for. It's kind of the process.
No, that's easy.
No pressure. It's a no pressure thankful joint.
No problem.
So I'm thankful for my people. Like how you say, growing up here in Hawaii, I consider myself extremely fortunate that I get to experience something that probably no one ever will. even with my kids, I look at them, I'm like, bro, you guys totally fucking missed the boat, man. I'm sorry. You know, you guys got to grow up this way. But for me, I love where I'm from, and I take deep pride in it, and I never want to leave. And I want that for everyone that's in my generation, you know. So I'm very thankful for my people, and I'm thankful for my home.
Good one. If there's any place in the world that you would live, where would it be?
This is going to sound fucking stupid. Sacramento. Snow is awesome in Tahoe. You can go north to the Redwoods. The Bay Area is right there. So it's like, California's apparently not a really cool place right now because of what's going on. But I think for me, like, I like to be around nature, and I like the mountains, you know. I like the ocean, and that would be like a happy medium where I could equally go to every place. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That ocean's a little bit colder, though.
Oh, my fucking goodness, man. I surfed in California, and I was like, my lips are blue. My friend's like, fuck, you know you need a wetsuit. I'm like, I don't know these things, dude.
I'm just going to echo what you're saying. I'm grateful to have grown up in Hawaii as well. That saying, lucky you live Hawaii, is not a cliche.
Definitely
It's
not.
super true. If I could live anywhere else in the world other than Oahu, I would live on Kauai.
Totally.
I wouldn't even leave the state.
Yeah, I see that. I see
think
that.
that might be cheating.
I know it's
gotta-
cop out.
You got to be more creative than that,
100%. I totally copped out on that one.
Well, what am I thankful for? Well, I'm thankful for being here with the crew and being able to speak my mind tonight. I'm thankful for spending the last, I've been here since 2005, but a Hickam Air Force Base kid as well. So I've been here for almost 20 years. So I'm thankful for spending the last 20 years of my life in Hawaii raising my children, and now have a new child.
Hell
And
yeah.
my children have left Hawaii with an experience and a kindness and a humility that they would have learned nowhere else. So, and that's all from Waialua High School in my area where I stay, Waialua. So I'm very thankful for those things. I'm thankful my kids were in schools where they weren't getting bullied. You know, it just didn't happen here. So it was very, people didn't have a lot, so they didn't need a lot. You know, that's not where I grew up. So I'm very thankful my children got to grow up here in Hawaii, and my new son will grow
Hell
up here in
yeah.
Hawaii, and I'm losing my mind, actually. I'm very thankful.
That's super cool, though. I think about it. Like, we're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. and
We're the most isolated landmass.
That's right.
it's
then
mellow
we're-
vibes with the most endangered species on it ever, like, in the entire world. Like, it's fucking crazy where we live.
There's a lot of aloha here, but there's also a lot of fucking racism here. And I was just, as you guys were talking about that, I was thinking about...
I can't call it racism,
I was
though.
thinking about how everybody talks about growing up, and everybody talked about Kill Howley Day. I mean, maybe that was a relic from the 70s or the 60s, but we never had that in the 80s. You know what I mean? I had Howley friends. I was the Howley friend a lot of the time. So it's like I never experienced like that level of Kill Howley Day type racism, but
Well, that cut was fresh.
everybody fucking doesn't like.
You know what I mean? That-
if you come here white, you already are kind of at a disadvantage just because of the color of your skin, and that's just being honest.
yeah,
It's true.
yeah.
People gonna judge you automatically. They can call you Howley this, Howley that. But I just saw a post today that was actually a good
I
thing.
don't
There's
think
a
that's that
difference.
accurate, though.
There's a
No.
difference between being Howley and being a Howley.
Totally.
So when this lady on this post I saw broke it down, I was like, oh, that's pretty good. But one thing I didn't like in that post is she made a comment about, fortunately, this guy doesn't have any colonizer blood in him. And I was like, well, when you say that, that sounds kind of racist. You know what I mean? It's like,
I think that cut was fresh when they did the Kill Howley Day because the whole Kaho'olawe bombing thing, right?
yeah.
So it was kind of like an implication like, hey, you guys got to fucking assimilate and you got to do what I say. And that was the military saying that. So the people kind of just said, you know what, fuck the Howleys. And they kind of went in that direction. But, you know, today, yes, I agree what you say, but I also disagree. I've seen a lot of people come here with proper, like, etiquette.
Yeah, it's the difference between being Howley and being a Howley.
Right. So,
But there's still plenty of people that just don't like Howleys for the color of their skin. I know people, and I'm not going to name any names.
it's a very few and far between, though. Now we're more progressive as people, I think, nowadays, than
I
we
hope
were
so.
back in the fucking 60s.
Kind of gotta be, right? I mean,
Yeah.
actually, you don't have to be, because apparently it's okay to be racist towards white people in this day and age. What the fuck?
Yeah, I think the melting pot has expanded, right?
Mhm.
And we're all Generation Xers and then some that have been either raised improperly or not or properly, you know. And so I think, you know, people are starting to get it, man. They're starting to come together. They're starting to realize what it's like to live life easy. You
Yeah.
can live it easy and you can love and be compassionate to people,
Right.
or you can live it hard and be a howley or whatever you want to call it. You know, you can be that shitty person and it just isn't going to make you happy. So it's just like, stop. You know what I mean?
I
Yeah.
see a howley, like
Yeah.
when I hear that word, I
Yeah.
hear that's just like someone that's petting a cat against the grain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just you're there to fucking irritate somebody, and
Yeah.
that's my when someone's called a howley, that's what I think, right?
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with your color skin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I've seen African American people act howley, Hawaiians act howley, Samoans people act howleys. Like, whereas, like, bro, question yourself. You know what I mean? Like, what you're doing is not pono at all,
Yeah.
and it has no place in Hawaii. With that being said, you know, there's
Welcome to Hawaii.
welcome to Hawaii.
Hey, you
Hey,
know-
como mai.
Hey, you know, the gurus will always tell you, love everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the only way you can move forward to really be happy in your own life and to a successful society. You know what I mean? If you're not loving everybody and have compassion for everybody, for everything they're going through and everything they've been, you'll continue to fail and society will continue to fail.
Yeah.
So
And it
that's
goes
just
for
the way
both
it-
parties, right?
Oh, no doubt about it.
And
Everybody.
I tell the
Yeah.
Hawaiian people,
Yeah,
keep
everybody.
protect yourself as you're moving
Humans.
forward. You know?
Yeah.
But you still gotta have compassion and understanding and love to those that don't have it as well.
One, don't lose your aloha.
Yeah.
Keep
Right.
it. Keep what makes you around. Don't let these guys change who you are. We still can be the aloha. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And still perpetuate that to our children. It doesn't have to stop with us, and that's what's unfortunate. As we move away, we start seeing a dilution of the true aloha. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I fucking fear the most. That word becomes.
Well, I can kind of tell you as an outsider myself, like 20 years, 25 plus years here, and I came back from a long journey from Hawaii, over 30, almost 40 years being gone, and aloha was still here, and it was pretty astounding, to be honest
Killer.
with you. 'Cause I
Yep.
was scared. I was like, is it going to be the same? Is it going to be these beautiful people all over the place? You know what I mean? And yes, there's poverty and there's everything else that everybody's struggling with, but you know, generally speaking, there is still so much love here. It's just the people that are running the state are the ones that don't have the love. They're the ones that are constantly making the bad decisions for everybody. They're not listening to the people. You know, this is what we're talking about right now. All the legislation, if it's really the voice of the people, then why isn't shit happening for the people?
Right.
Why are we building rails? Why do we have homeless people all over the damn place? Why
Why don't our kids have fucking good food
Yeah.
at school?
Why does it cost $500,000 to buy a home? Why does it? Why? You know what I mean? And this is the people that are running our towns and our countries, you know, and that's the problem, man. And we have to take control of that somehow or another in a, you know, a very intelligent way. You know what I mean? Because they can crush people, or they can come along and we can help and make society a good place. And that's, you know, that's been my kind of journey as well. It's been a crusher, but a good thing as well. It's been interesting. So yeah.
It's crazy how, like, it's like a big circle jerk. Like, when I look at it, it's like, okay, what do you guys want? Okay, this is what we want.
Yeah.
All right, heard. This is what we're gonna do. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
fuck, dude. What?
Yeah.
Don't even ask if you're not gonna even change this bitch.
Yeah.
You know, and even like I see it with communities. With that last meeting we had, in the end, when everyone was going around and they started saying, you know, what was their biggest push, everybody pretty much said the same thing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what the fuck's the problem here, guys? Come on, man.
There's always gonna be things that we're not gonna agree on any issue, on no matter what side of it on. But
the
I think-
details of it, right?
But the idea is to focus on the positives that we do agree on, because there's a good amount of those, and like,
right.
I mean,
if
you know,
you're just standing in opposition because it's not exactly the way you want it, then you're standing in the way of progression.
yeah, and I think, you know, a lot of the way the bills are written, they're not even written from the people, so we can all get together and make a fucking decision. You know what I mean? And so, you know, a lot of people consider that a cartel type of, you know, mentality where you just control, and well, you think, oh, if you submit testimony, it'll do something, or if you show up to all these meetings, it'll do something, or if you get a lobbyist, it'll do something, and then when it's all said and done, you're like, that did absolutely freaking nothing now I know where I stand. You know what I mean?
Totally.
You know,
That's how I feel
yeah.
90% of the time.
And that's what it is. You know what I mean? And that's why we have to get loud. We have to come together, you know, the thousands, the tens of thousands, the 20,000 of people. It can't just be splinter groups. You know what I mean? It's got to be some serious movements like what you see with, you know, the Mauna Kea stuff and stuff like that. It's no joke, and it takes a lot of people to do stuff like that, so people will back off, you know. So,
my biggest concern is having big entities come in and kind of like muscle their way in using money, you know, and using that money to be like, hey, I'm taking over, you know. That's my biggest concern.
well, I mean, that's Hawaii's history, man. That's exactly why you have so many people who are not happy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's exactly what they did. They didn't come in and build a tourism industry and say, hey, your shit's going to be super fun. Everybody's going to be having fun. Everybody's going to be well fed. They took. And
Right.
they took the money from that. And there's no reason, you know. I mean, all you got to do is spend a day over on Makaha side, on the west side on the beach, and just see the stress levels and the sadness and the poverty in one of the most beautiful places in the world. And honestly, you can't live in a beautiful place in the world if you can't feed yourself. And
Totally. It means nothing.
That means nothing. That's
Yeah.
correct. Yeah, that's correct. And so that's where we need to be. We need to be helping all these people, man. You know what I
I mean, even in Waialua.
Oh,
I
yeah.
see homeless in Waialua. I'm like,
Sure.
the fuck are you doing here,
Yep.
guys? Come on, man.
Yep.
Like, it makes me pissed at our politicians that would even happen. I mean, it's inevitable because, like, I'm the kind of guy to be like, hey, where are you from? You know, the
Yeah,
homeless
yeah.
guy. And he'd be like, I'm Michigan. I'm like, fuck, dude, you're far away. It's mighty hot here.
It's
but,
cold in Michigan.
Yeah. I'm like, well, you pick your poison, dog. But at the same time, like, man, the local families, I was eating at Dave's Ice Cream down here in Waimalu, and I seen this family come up, and they're just chilling at nighttime in the parking lot. I'm like, And it's clicked. I was like, oh shit, they live under the bridge.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the sad shit right
Yeah.
there, because these kids are being brought up living a nightlife.
Yeah.
What's around?
And it's a constitutional right for you to live under a shelter. So it's just
Right.
here we go. We're just breaking all these rules again. You know what I mean? And it's the same old shit. And you know that's
Back to the circle jerk.
Here we go. Yeah. So we got to be involved. You know, and that's really what we're doing. This is why we're doing these podcasts, right? To get to the point. To say, hey, you guys have questions. What do you want to hear? What do you want to do? What do you want us to tell you to do? What can you do as a citizen to become, you know, helpful and be involved? You know what I mean? I don't know what to do. I'm at home. It feels like fucking useless, and I don't even know where to start, man. And that's how a lot of us start. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
And
Yeah.
that's how a lot of
So,
them get you.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, where do I start?
Yeah, yeah,
what the
yeah,
fuck?
yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like, well, don't even start
Yeah,
then,
just
dude.
go shop.
Yeah.
Don't sweat it. Yeah, yeah.
The process itself is so difficult and so overwhelming that we don't need infighting in the community to be another barrier. There's enough barriers set in the way just by the way the political system is set up.
They make it hard enough for us.
Yeah.
But I mean, we all have to learn that, because if we
Mhm.
don't learn it, that's why we're infighting. We're still trying to learn all these steps and balances, and what it does is it makes us infight. Like if you went to the recreational bill last year, you guys went to it. I mean, the Reefer Madness crew, I'm going to say the anti-cannabis crew, to show respect towards the cannabis crew. The whole idea was to get them to fight each other, so you're not paying attention to what these motherfuckers are doing behind the desk and legislation and moving on. That's the idea. Get these people to be at each other's throat, then they won't be at our throat, and we can just roll on out of here. And that's
the
game.
tried and true game plan
that's the
of
game plan,
government
man.
from
And it's-
local all the way up to the
That's
big
right.
leagues.
We're so
That's
fucking
right.
stupid because we can see that happening, and then we do nothing about it. Like, hey guys, they're gonna make us argue. You know,
It's the people that are arguing that they don't actually see it.
I wonder how much
And
of
you
those.
can tell them this, but they don't believe you because people still think the government works the way they think it works.
Well, and I think we have to control the narrative, right? When we step into the Capitol and go to their meetings and their bill shit, they control the narrative. We need to step outside of the Capitol and have our own meetings in places like we did last time to control the narrative and say, hey, okay, we agree, we disagree. Okay, we're all on the same page now. Okay, let's move this right up. So when we're sitting in this Capitol building, they're talking about recreational cannabis, ain't nobody fussing about anything. We got one thing to do here, and if y'all ain't going to do it for us, it's going to be a problem, you know? And I think that's really important.
And shout out to Cannabis Society of Hawaii, man, for
Yeah, yeah.
organizing that, and
Yeah.
like, you know, he's putting the effort in to get the voices heard. You know, and that's more than a lot of people that I see. And he calls me up, he talks to me, and you know, he gives me the insight of what's happening. And not only that, like, he kind of translates a lot of the shit for me, because like, bro, we graduated from the same place, but he's on another level, you know.
Right.
And I'll take that with a grain of salt, and I'll listen to what the opposition would be presenting, right? And I'll just make my own decision. But then again, like how we talked about, the opinion really matters for the individual, and that's how you get the inner fighting. Is when people have different. You got to give something, right?
Yeah.
So it's like if you want to start a business, okay, I get it. There's money involved for you. I see you. You know, I know what you're trying to do, but that goes nowhere. Oh shit! They just cut my live video off.
Oh, dude, they're watching, bro. What you said?
I didn't
talking shit about.
I didn't mention a Jew or anything.
What?
Dude.
What the fuck?
That goes down.
Yeah, not a YouTube's out. Oh shit, my computer just
Because
died.
the last time we did that shit, it went boop. It went right out.
No, it wasn't the Jews, was it?
Yeah, it was. As soon as you and fucking.
Well, we love the Jews, so I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I love juice. It's awesome.
Yeah, but
No, so like
Oh,
that,
shit,
that inner fighting is the biggest thing, you know.
Well, and we're not talking about things, right? And so
Right.
this is what happens when you don't spend a lot of time talking about these things with different people besides your own clan. Then you'll end up with this infighting because nobody's made a decision, right?
Right.
Where there's a decision to be made, and we can use data and move on from that, and it's very clear to everybody. Okay, we've come up with this idea, this plan that we want. And now we're coming at you hard with all of us now. There isn't even a splinter crew in our group anymore. We've all come to the same opinion, whether it's 10,000 or 100,000 of us of the same data. We're now moving forward with this. Politicians, you're not going to splinter us. And those conversations have to be had all the time, and they haven't been for lots of reasons.
What would be a good like thing to present the people to go after to be like it'll pander to pretty much everybody, you know, like that square footage of grow space, you know, where we could keep out the foreign entities, but yet keep it juicy for the locals as a business. You know, a sustainable business. That's a good number right there, in my opinion. And I think Chris was saying that the investor can't own more than 49% if it's an outside investor of a social equity license. Like, to me, that's pretty cool because it limits these people from having majority share of any company, right, or any say.
Well, I mean, you know, I started this journey quite a while ago, you know, fighting a lot of these bills and trying to figure out the right way forward. And the people that I ended up linking with were the small craft farmers.
Right.
That's really what my whole journey started with, was Maine Craft Cannabis, the National Craft Cannabis Coalition, the Eureka growers like Sticky Fields, all the stories. That's where my journey started. So you know, if your journey starts with the small craft growers, and that's the vision, is small craft growers, small businesses, small everything around, so we all share the pie, everybody gets great medicine, and we're fucking loving life. That's the vision. That's where we should be. You know what I mean? Once it steps into a big business, I'm not there. I'm gone, man. So you don't have me at all, because we've already seen that happen, right? Yeah. And so, you know, when I had people coming here from Maine, like from Maine Craft Cannabis, and you know, he sat around with me on a lot of this stuff, and we talked to a lot of politicians, and he said, Jay, you know, the problem with Hawaii here is they're all viced up. You know, they're still very, very anti-cannabis. Mm-hmm. He said, but the most important thing, Jay, is do the right thing. You know, do not give them any momentum to pass any bill that looks like it's going to be shady or in the wrong direction, or it doesn't have the right information in it. Because as soon as you do that, they start writing their own information in, and you will have no control over that.
And that's a scary part, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You can produce anything you want, but they'll add their shit in and sneak shit through.
We want it clear from day one.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's, you know, when I brought in the medical cannabis bill from Maine, you know what I mean? It's clear what is exactly going on every step of the freaking way, man. You can have a license, a caregiver license for $2,500, which will allow you to cultivate. You can have a dispensary as you want. You can grow. You can do as much as you possibly want. You better be able to afford it, though, because it's going to happen fast. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's the whole idea. Is it's a free market. It's like, you know, it's a $2,500 license for anybody. You know, with limits, right? Growing limits basically are the biggest ones. You know what I mean? Because you can only go square footage and something like that.
One thing I was talking about too was like contractor permitting, to be state compliant for facilities, right? We all know that permitting takes upwards of years at times. So if you got a facility, you want to do a grow, you know, the state requires you to have, you know, if it's indoor, HVAC system, outdoor, you have fire sprinkler, fire safety, electrical, nonetheless, plumbing. All of that permits takes years. So they need to give us enough cushion of a pilot program to make sure we can cover that and then the profitability of our entity, right? Our
Well,
business.
you know, and the same thing that, I mean, this is happening and I'll keep pushing back to Maine, man, because I've been all over the place and seen what's going on, and it's the most beautiful it's the most beautiful thing you ever seen, built from the grassroots up. There is nobody that can argue that this medical program was not built from the people. And it's the same shit, man, okay? My daughter goes to school out there. She knows like 5 girls that she goes to college with that parents are either growing, have small dispensaries, or hash makers. And it's the same thing. When there's money allocated towards a program and you're going to open up, say, an indoor grow, okay? The people are there. Your permit people come by and measure your canopy space. Then you got fire code people. They come by. You're not sitting around waiting for the normal permitting people of the city. That's not the way it works. You get going, and they come after, you know what I mean? And that's the way it works, you know what I mean?
I hope that the city would be proactive enough to put out extra permitting, you know, what's it called? What would you call it?
Oh, there's no moving forward without it, and that's the whole
Fuck,
idea. So
dude.
this is what you do. This is the whole package, right? We don't move into this package until you guys tell us all this stuff is in place so we can move forward. You're going to hire permit people. You're going to have all these people in place because we're already building and going. So you're going to catch up with us and come visit our grow.
Yes.
And then you're going to say, hey, everything's cool. And we're still going to be moving. We're still going to be selling medical cannabis to people. We're going to be doing it to dispensaries, da-da-da. We're still moving. And you're going to come back and go, hey, I'm Mr. Permit guy or woman. Everything's cool here. You got 500 square foot of canopy. Looks beautiful. Check. See you later,
What
man.
about the building permit people? That's the thing I worry about. Because even with my business, say I wanted to renovate a mezzanine, I would have to go through the proper permitting, and it's like, holy shit, it costs so much money for permitting, plus I have to wait this.
Well, I mean,
hella
just
long.
let's say you're setting up in this garage. There's no building permits. This is your space. You're hanging lights and you're going already, man. That's as simple as that. You know what I mean?
But Hawaii, as far as being a business in Hawaii, right, at the state of Hawaii,
Right.
you have to be compliant to certain things.
But see, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be a different thing. You know what I mean? And when you talk about a cultivation site, that's not a business. That's a cultivation site. Now,
Okay.
if you open up a small dispensary,
Like a store.
you might have to do a couple other things, but it's still happening fast track style. You know what I mean? It's not like in Massachusetts where they're waiting. Guy's been waiting for a year and he spent almost $500,000 setting up his dispensary in a small grow and he's still not open. You know, it was never like that, and that's the way the Mainers did it. They pulled it fast and furious, and that's the way it still is today. Even with the rec program invading them, they're still freaking knocking it out the park, and it's beautiful, man. It's
How
beautiful.
much people in Hawaii you think are capable of hitting the ground running like that?
Well, I mean, when I think about hitting the ground running, I'm thinking about here's Kalei growing in his garage. Here's my friend growing in his backyard. I mean, there's lots of capacity, right? There's a lot of growers in Hawaii, you know what I mean? And you got to have space to grow, you know what I mean? You got to have space to do things no matter what you're doing. But I would say there's several thousand easy for everybody to start this market right open. Not a problem.
Would you recommend that we get rid of the licensing amount and just, if you apply, you get it?
Oh, there's no well, you apply, but you're going to get it. There's no limits here, man. This is the free market, man. If you limit, let's say, you know, we've heard people talk about, well, let's just give out 200 licenses to, you know, the first Hawaiians or whatever. I said, well, what about the 201st Hawaiian, the 210th Hawaiian, the 300th Hawaiian? So they don't get to participate because you got selected before they did, you know what I mean? And so that's the whole idea with even the main thing, too. There are no limits.
Right.
There's canopy spaces and there's limits on what you can do that allow you to stay as a small business so you don't saturate, right?
Totally.
And that's what makes it work. That's what makes
So-
it work. Even in a rural place like Maine that summertime is their only tourism system, they make it work, man. You know what I mean? And they're still doing really good even with their medical cannabis program. And a lot of their rec program people are moving out.
And think about the people who own massive hectares of land, like Dole, right?
Yeah. Yep.
It would be like, if I was to sublease this shit,
Right.
I would cut this overhead out. Of course, like, these people would probably have to transition to small farms, right? The people working in Dole. But think about the money that they would be making for rent, right? If you sublease this 150 acres out to 500 or 5,000 square foot
Right.
for a grow.
5,000 square foot.
These
grow, yeah.
fuckers would be making choke money, bro.
Sure, but they have to have somewhere to put their product, you know what I mean? And the locals own this industry, you know what I mean?
Right.
Whether they're bringing in cannabis for the last 40 years or whether they're growing it, you know what I mean? The families are built here. The Ohanas are built here just for the local people. And that's the first and most important part to understand when setting up this medical program and getting back to it is the locals control this, right? Then we can talk about tourism and we can talk about those things, you know what I mean? But you're still going to come into our state and you're still going to get a medical card and you're still going to go what you need to do to get medicine from us. That's
Yes.
how we control it all. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
I like it how it's just closed loop.
Yep.
Like you're here in Hawaii, you gotta shop here in Hawaii.
Hey, you know, a medical card in Maine is like simply going on a computer and a doctor saying, hey, you're cool. There's no holding on to your information in Department of Health.
Right.
That shit doesn't happen. This is off. This is the only
I agree
thing-
with that
yeah,
100%.
The only thing Department of Health does in Maine or whatever is they give them the laminate to laminate the card they're giving to the patient to give it some, you know, validity for police officers. That's it, man. It's done. Yeah, you don't get to see my HIPAA information. It's over with.
That
man.
you know, like,
amazing.
then that trickles to like employment,
Yep.
right? And
Yep.
that's what we want to see too
Yep.
for everyone,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
That's like the
For
common denominator shit we're talking about
For
that
sure.
really makes a difference.
Yeah.
You know, with this bill, one thing personally that I would like to see is no imports, nobody importing. Like, there's so much talent here. Until our market gets, you know, stable, I wouldn't like to see anything being shipped in, but incentives for our local farmers. You know, 5,000 square foot is cool. Like for me, if I had an acre, that 5,000 would be designated for my grow, but food would be definitely on my farm
There we
too,
are.
right? You know,
That's it. It
That's-
allows you to put food out.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It allows you to put
Yes.
food out for people other than yourself. We can feed ourselves, but how do we feed the mass that don't have farmland? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
With local products. And that's the whole beauty of cannabis. You know, here's another resource where we can make money and, you know, plot these lands off and do other things. You
Yep.
know what I mean? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really.
that's the progressive movement that I think everybody can get around. You know, I haven't seen an opposition for that.
Right.
So like automatic, that should be on the bill.
Right.
You know, like if we can come up with a system that protects us, so we don't have to, you know, give in to any kind of strong arm shit later on down
You
the
guys got some
line.
water up in this joint?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Hold on, I'll grab you a cup.
I should have asked one for earlier.
No, you're good.
For the
You're good.
setup.
Take it up, Erik.
Just people are saying what's up. They're saying thank you for being on here and apologize for the laggy internet. Somebody said your internet is laggy. Sorry, I said it's Auntie's shitty internet. But we're gonna get into the details of the bill, because I think people want to know. I know you sent us kind of the breakdown.
Roger that. Roger that. Yeah, let me get a little water in this joint.
Yeah,
and we'll
yeah,
start.
yeah.
We'll start wrapping this out. You know, on you know we're in an emergency mode right now. We're about to lose a lot of our laws that were given to us many years ago, and we're about to lose them all right now. So we're in emergency mode right now for sure.
Hmm.
Oh man.
That's crazy. It seems like there's been a lot of bills happening recently, and shit's changing very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, even like, you know, you look at the caregiver bills and the cultivation bills in the last, I can't tell you how many I've sat on in the last 4 or 5 years where, you know, one representative saying, okay, we can grow, you can have 50 cards at one site, you know what I mean? Oh
Mhm.
yeah. And then another one saying, well, we'll have 10 cards. I'm like, you obviously don't know what the hell you're talking about, so stop talking, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the biggest thing. You know, even Tarnas, man. Oh my gosh, dude. You know, like trying to talk to him about rec bills and medical bills, you know, when they want to do something, they just mow you, man. They just mow you right over and sidestep you like Herschel Walker, dude. It's brutal, man.
The juke game is real when it comes to politicians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go. About to die.
So shall we crack open this bill?
Yeah, I'd like to, you know, we're talking about, where are we at? SB, man, it's been
1429.
1429. There you go.
Was it right? Am I right?
You're right.
Yeah, and I want to kind of just back off FSB 1429 really quick and just kind of give everybody a quick history lesson of a quick history data point of how we got to this bill. You know what I mean? And I think that's really important to understand. A lot of people have blamed, and I think it's important for me to address this through Waialua because a lot of people have blamed these card sites, movements and stuff on Waialua going too big and things of that nature. And you know, it's really easy to squash this stuff. It's super simple. I'll give you a quick data point on this. This bill, 5 limit card limits and getting rid of the caregiver was introduced by Senator Kalani English in 2021. to start to force people in dispensaries. That's where it was, okay? This bill passed in 2021. It was put into the 329 law with a drop date of 2023. We will enforce the law, right? This is where it all went. We're going to enforce this law in 2023. We saw this coming. We were having lots of people come to our farm. This started off with SB 89. After a couple years of just going through policy making with these people, we talked a couple senators into giving us an extension on this bill to allow DOH to come back to the table and start to figure out what's going on with cooperatives in the medical farms, you know what I mean? Which they definitely did not do a damn thing about. This bill then had a date of 2025, and that's how it all happened. You know, it had nothing to do with what we were doing. It was already in place way before we started our march down Stacking Card Patient Valley. You know what I mean? And that's, you know, and that's the history of where we are right now. This bill right here, this SB bill, has been written about 8 different times, okay, throughout the years.
Right.
Okay, anything from, well, we're going to allow grow sites, or we're going to allow more plants, or da-da-da-da-da. And then SB 89, the bill that limited cards, set into place for 2025 and went into place. That got rid of the caregiver program, and that is where we're at right now, right? So this bill's back in play to deal with the caregiver program. But what's really cool about this bill being back in play is it was never out of play. We've always been dealing with this shit. 5 cards, caregiving, you got to touch your own plants. All the DOH just freaking ubiquitous nonsense that really controls this whole medical program, you know what I mean? And that's what we've been fighting for years, you know what I mean? And that's why, you know, try opening a farm up and try and be compassionate to where your door's open and people can come in and get medicine, and stop letting them come in. Do it, you know what I mean? See how that feels for you know what I mean? Okay, we need to put a limit on how many people can come in here. We need to limit how many people can come into this farm. I'm like, well, why do you do that? There's nobody else that can get medicine for them, that they don't know people. They're not going to go to dispensaries. That's where this whole mission started, you know? I started with like 20 people. I never thought in a million years I would end up with 2,000 people on my farm and over 4,000 scripts written over the last 8 years. Never in a mind-boggling, you know what I mean? And so, you know, it's not like, well, you got greedy or you did this. I was compassionate, man. I love people. I wanted to help people. You cannot put it down, dude. Don't stop. You know what I mean, man? And you know, I felt good about it. I felt good that I was helping people. You know, and I think that's kind of, you know, not to drag it on too long, but that's kind of the history of this bill right now.
Well, at the end of the day, bro.
Yep.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what anyone says. You come to yourself when you lay down at night, right? So it's like, if you say, I did it for compassion, who gives a fuck what anyone else says?
Yeah,
you in your heart know you've done it for
and
compassion.
I think you guys talk about, you know, getting people together, right? And getting people on the same page. And if people don't know the truth and are only getting like, you know, half the truth, they don't want to get on the page, right? And so you need to give them the page sometimes and go, hey, man, that's not the facts, man. Let's get on this page together because we got some bills to win and we got a fight to fight that's going to save your medical cannabis bill. You know what I mean? So I think that's what, you know, I always go to sleep feeling good. That's not a problem, man. You know, I'm a compassionate person and I've always loved people, you know what I mean? But it's more like I want to gain the respect of people so we can move on and make good choices, right? That's what it's all about, you know what I mean? So I do have to care what people think about me because I'm trying to lead, or at least help lead, a certain direction on what I know is a working program that has a lot of pressure not to do it behind it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's very commendable because we all know that the OGs in the cannabis industry right now are the people that are quietest and they don't move at all.
Right.
They don't want to move. They're happy to be in the shadows. And, you know, I used to be one of them. Like, just don't do anything. But like yourself, I kind of thought that like we gotta say something or do something with what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
And you know, I told Erik, like, we just gotta do this and get it out there for everybody because this is a pivotal time.
Well, and it's a safer time. You know what I mean,
totally,
man? I mean,
totally.
you know, you're talking about, you know, 15 years ago, Roger Christie had the cannabis ministry on Big Island.
Yeah.
Selling people RSO and helping them with medicine and did 5 years in fucking federal prison, man. Are you fucking kidding me, man? That is the saddest thing I've ever seen happen to
Fuck.
humans. You know what I mean?
He's a gangster for doing that. He took
know,
his time too, bro.
But I mean, it's like, why would you put this man in federal prison for cannabis? You know what I mean? And this is what keeps everybody down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we know, okay, things are changing. You know what I mean? And our farm gets raided, and you're like, well, what do you do now? Well, I think we're in a good time and place where we just open the doors back up and say, hey, what's the problem here? And if there is the problem, you should have been arresting people and taking people to court and shit. What's the problem here, man? You know what I mean?
Right,
because we're not criminals. We are compassionate farmers, man, that care about people. We don't even know things.
It's that simple too, right? Like it's that simple.
Yeah.
Like, we just want this plant. Like for me, I just want this plant to be out. Like I want this plant to be able to heal people and show that it can heal people. And, put a little bit of wrench in this fucking conventional Western medicine and what we're used to, because we all know that shit don't work. So it's cool that we have this plant as an avenue, but we see what all this bullshit popping up that makes it so hard for us to be progressive right now. Like that shit I don't get. Whatever, I was telling him, I get jaded over this shit. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I mean, we have to reteach ourselves, right? It's just a big deal, right? And here you are, you guys grew up with this plant, right?
Mm-hmm.
And already had it way under control. It was already happening. It was just the forces of the power that just smashed it all. I mean, it really was a beautiful thing. And so here we are again, you know what I mean? We're fighting for our basic human rights, you know what I mean? That's really what it is, and
Ben Harper just said that, right?
Yeah, man, it's brutal. It's brutal.
Bro, the barter system is a tried and true thing.
Yep.
And growing up, Pakalolo was the barter system of Hawaii.
Yeah.
Some people, they're burning on the side. Give them something. They can let you fucking hit your joint, I remember my dad.
I'll trade you some bananas. Let's go.
I get extra beer in my cooler, and they'll trade here, share this joint, and then they're all good.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Like it's such a part of our culture growing up, whether you like it or not. To shun it is fucking foolish, because all this progressive money that we could be making off of it just gets put into the back burner,
Well, we, if you even take, I'm working with a group now called Deschedule.earth, you know what I mean? And these guys are, the people that are really pounding through how this all happened, you know what I mean? How did cannabis end up in the substance group, you know what I mean? How did it all happen? And, we know now, that, this was snuck in during the Nixon Vietnam War days. It was snuck into a schedule, you know what I mean? And now the big thing is, well, let's repeal this shit. We're not talking about deschedule. We're not talking about reschedule. We're talking about repealing this shit right out of the fucking law, out of the drug law, you know what I mean? Because it should have never been there, right? And so when you hear a lot of that deschedule, reschedule stuff, a lot of it is propaganda to put us at each other, you know what I mean? Right. Well, reschedule will do this, or deschedule will do this, you know what I mean?
Right.
And really, if you really want to free everything about it, it's just got to come off it 100%. It never needs to be looked at as a drug ever again. So
their tactic, and when I say is the powers that don't want this to happen, right?
The Illuminati.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, wait. The camera was on me. Do that again.
Yeah.
It seems like they throw wrenches in the progression. The powers that be that don't want this.
Well, I mean, you look at tobacco, you look at alcohol, right? I mean,
pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, these are our money makers, right? Why would they even? Why? You know what I mean? Because they know what cannabis is going to do. It's going to get people to stop drinking. They're going to stop using pharmaceuticals, right? We know this is the cartel. We know that's how it's been happening forever, and now it's just wising up. You know what I mean?
Sam cartel.
Yeah, wising up and being smarter than those people, or getting them on board, going, hey man, there's plenty of money here. If you guys want to be these guys that are rich idiots driving Lamborghinis and houses, enjoy yourself. But you know what, man? There's got to be a balance here. You know what I mean, man? We still should be able to live life and have fun here. You know what I mean? And not take it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I mean, if you guys want to pop back in that bill, we can kind of wrap with everybody and what's going on with it.
Yeah, totally.
I think it's important. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Take it away, Eric.
Well, I don't know. I just know the number. I couldn't 1492.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, 1429.
So my understanding is everything pretty much stays what it is. Correct?
That is correct. So, the caregiver / card limit law went in January 1st, 2025, right? Fuck you. We hated that. That's just the wrong thing to do no matter what. You guys bullied it in. It ran out of time. You didn't even give it a last hearing. Bilotti just pushed it through. We had like over 100 opposing testimonies, small but enough to say, hey, ignored, right? And then all of a sudden, caregivers start yelling a little bit. Now, I don't know really how it got to Josh Green's desk, because we don't have a lot of caregivers in the state of Hawaii.
Instagram.
Yeah. There's only about, I
Fuck you,
think
Josh
there's
Green.
only about 300 to 500 really caregivers in the program, is my understanding, right, of all the cards we have, right? So, but it was loud enough to get to him, and he's like, well, whoa, wait a minute, you got rid of the caregiver bill. And we're like, yeah, you knew that was going to happen, motherfuckers. I mean, sorry, you knew it was going to happen, right? And so, so he writes this big, I always forget the verbiage, it's proclamation or whatever he did, right? You know what I mean? Okay, well, I'm going to allow this to happen, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? And so this is the noise that's being made that keeps us off side of what we're supposed to be doing, okay?
Is there any way to get his ass to sit down and us to talk to him?
Well, I can tell you, man, he'd been on my farm before he became a governor, right?
Yeah.
He was on my farm, right?
What about post-governor?
That
Yeah.
motherfucker.
And he never even showed up, man. After all this stuff that happened, after all these things that happened, I couldn't get one single meeting with that
One
dude.
thing I noticed about Josh Green is that prior to getting elected and after getting elected, he totally flipped the script on a number of things.
Well, I'll tell you who's
Oh,
sitting down
it's
having dinner
crazy.
with him, right? You know who's sitting down having a dinner in the cannabis industry. It's the dispensaries. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Tai Chang, them?
Yeah. That's the people that are running the show, right? So that's the people he's listening to. You know what I mean?
We'll
And
go
that-
wrestle Josh Green.
Yeah.
What? With our pants off.
Put
Yeah.
a 2 singlets, bro. Let's go.
That wouldn't even be a wrestle thing. He's got no skills like that. There's no skills. But, so this is the noise behind this bill, and this is kind of where we're going. The Oahu Cannabis Farm Alliance and Deschedule.earth. We're pretty much calling it now an emergency plan, right? The idea is we're going to pass a one-to-one caregiver, and we're going to limit 5 cards per site, right? That's what we're going to do, right? Well, let me tell you, sir, okay? When you passed that bill in 2025, I had 1,000 people on my site. So now I have 995 people that are out of medicine, right? Not cool, man. You know what I mean, man?
Right, totally.
All the ubiquitous shit from DOH. Okay, we're gonna have a one-to-one caregiver now. You can't. There's only one person can touch one person's plant. It's just bullshit, man. It's like I was a caregiver, man. I could caregive for thousands of people because what does a caregiver do, man?
Care.
That's right, man. He grows plants. He helps them get medicine. A lot of people just come to the farm and go, I just need fucking medicine. I can't grow. Can't be a part of it right now. Can I just get medicine? Or my auntie's in bed or whatever. So this is the guys, right, that they're trying to say, hey, well, we'll give you this, but we're going to put some law enforcement in the back as well. So if someone is selling cannabis, by the way, if you don't have a dispensary license and you're selling cannabis, according to Andrew Goff now, who is the head of the Office of Cannabis Policy, Attorney General's assistant for 10 years, took Michelle Nakata's place, you're a criminal.
Mm-hmm.
You're a criminal if you're
I
selling
disagree.
weed to medical patients. You're a criminal, man. All right, man, so bring it on.
You know what?
So
I won't sell it, but I'll get compensated for my energy to grow it.
that's the math, man. That's what it is all day. You make a product, it costs you so much to make it, you buy it from us. That's the math, man. It's like,
And if you ever I tell those people out there, right? That's pretty practical, right?
You got kicked off of your Instagram live again. I think it was all that wrestling Josh Green talk.
No, that happened before that.
No,
You talk about like fucking. You feel demonized. Some people with growing. I can't do it. Like think about moonshiners, right? And that's their way of life.
That's
Some
right.
people base their lives and their families off of moonshining seasons.
They were making money. Yep. They were surviving.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is what's happening right now. So we're definitely working on an emergency plan right now to, let the governor know and let Representative Tarnas and, Representative Poi Poi, who are on the next committee that this is going to, right? The Judiciary and Hawaiian Affairs is where this bill's headed now, right? And we're going to bang them pretty hard, man. You know what I mean? We're talking about emergency stuff now. You're not going to pass a bill that doesn't allow for multi-card sites, that doesn't allow for more caregiverness. You're not going to take that away from us, and we're not going to let you. And if you do, it's war. That's the way it is now. And we now have the skills to do it. We have the capacity to do it. We have the people to do it. And more people are getting involved now. So don't let these people, they're going to say, a lot of people say, hey, Jay, well, you're voting against a caregiver law. That caregiver law doesn't mean shit, you guys. It's a one-to-one with very few people involved in the 40,000 medical patients that we have, plus everybody who's not registered. what does that really mean, you guys? What does that caregiver really mean? You know, it's a joke, man. You know,
When I look at the numbers, right, and we talk about the numbers of what we could contribute to cannabis, and we talked about the last meeting, it's safe to say 400,000 people fucking smoke weed on island. Let's just fucking say that, entertain that idea, and it's a pretty plausible idea. With that much people consuming cannabis, you look at the dispensaries and what we need other options because dispensaries cannot put out, and the lawmakers will be shooting themselves in the fucking foot by doing this because they're promoting more black market.
yeah. I mean, they just put everybody out in the street. Yeah.
Right.
And, you know, and I'm going to be honest with you. The people didn't ask for dispensaries. Let's get that fucking straight.
Totally.
Okay. We had task force meetings back in 2015 where people crushed this place about horizontal markets.
Yeah.
Nobody asked for dispensaries. Law enforcement forced it down their throats. They folded, and that's what they came up with. We did not ask for these dispensaries.
Yeah. That's fucking ridiculous.
And I don't
dude.
care. I don't care if they all go under, man. I don't have this throwing stone shit. You know what, man? Dispensaries, you should have came forward and started helping with the cause. You know what I mean? Instead of worrying about yourself and your investors and your old climate people from EGACE that are invested in these things. I mean, come on, man. It's all over the place, man. There's so many people invested in these dispensaries, man, that we don't know about.
Yeah.
Big Island, local, everything, man. It's just a bunch of bullshit. And it's like it's not the right way to move forward. And you can't even go back to Pono now. It's not happening, man. You can hire a local for NOAA. You can do whatever you want. You've already drawn the line. You've not stepped up for the people of Hawaii to say, hey, this is wrong what we're doing, and got loud about it. You just sat around and dealt with your investors. You know, I had a conversation with someone outside the expo the other day when we had the cannabis expo, you know, and I won't say any names, but they were a dispensary owner, and I said, hey, you want to do something right, drop your ounces down to 200 all day, everything, man. You don't get to make any more. They're like, our investors will never let us do that.
Okay.
There you go. So that's your problem, man.
Yeah.
That's why you'll fail. You know what I mean? In Maine right now, you can go to a freaking medical cannabis place with 40 different bomb indoor strains. They do a lot of indoor, right? It's cold as shit up in Maine, right? But they do it right. All day, $200 an ounce, man. They're everywhere, man.
And that's another issue that we have to address moving forward is the market value in Hawaii shouldn't be a race to the bottom like the rest of the 49. You know, that I cannot see that as a fucking positive business model.
Well, and I just told you, right, Maine is still $200 an ounce for indoor, and they still pay their cultivators a good number for that. So they still pay their cultivators over $2,000 a pound, and they sell their cannabis for $200 an ounce.
Yeah. I mean, feasibility
Still today.
that's a good number.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good
what I'm
number.
talking about, man. Yeah.
$2,000 a pound. That's a good number. That's a fair number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Come on.
And to have that still translate to $200 to the consumer, that's fucking sounds amazing. It seems like almost a win-win.
Everybody wins. That's
$1,200 a pack too,
Yeah.
and you're not doing nothing as overhead to grow it. All you're doing is brokering.
That's right.
So you're getting 12 points right off of that broker.
Hey, my boys at Flying Fish, I got a crazy visit in Maine and got to watch their whole operation work and the way they did it. You know, they were running a 500 square foot facility, right, man? Once they got that sea of green going and everything, they were doing about 20 pounds every month, man. I mean, come on.
Perfect.
20 pounds every month, man. You know, 20 pounds or even every couple of weeks, I think it was. But you see,
And that's like a 40 lighter. That's a
come
small
on, man.
operation. That's not a big
small operation
Yep.
that's making $100,000 a month and feeding their families. You know what I mean? It's like, there you go, man. That's what this medical cannabis program has to offer Hawaii. For the outdoor growers, for everybody, man.
Well,
There's-
outdoor is even better in Hawaii.
Yeah.
6 harvests a fucking year.
Yep.
And in no way, shape, or form should any of these bills touch veg. It should be only pertaining to flower.
Just canopy.
That's
Yep.
it.
Yep.
That's it.
What makes it to the market.
And
all
that's
it is,
something
man.
we all can get around.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
like fucking don't
Yeah.
touch veg and propagation unless you're starting
Yeah.
a business of propagation,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If I'm selling cuts and genetics to people that grow, then yes,
Then you're a cut seller.
exactly.
If I'm making rosin, you're a rosin seller.
Exactly.
If I make edibles, you're an edible seller.
Right.
You know what I mean? And everybody can do that through a license. You know what I mean?
Yes.
There's no limits. And I think that's the most beautiful thing about it. You know, and I challenge anybody to look at this Medical Cannabis Act that we written from Maine and find what's wrong with it. Please. I challenge anybody out there. Don't just talk shit and say, hey, Rex, this and this. Please read this bill and find what's wrong with it. Besides the fact that it's too utopic for this place. But other than that, you know what I mean?
I worry about people
Yeah.
taking advantage, and I worry about like
Sure.
we have to put in these little things that like the 49%. you can only have one license in one specific genre, right?
Right.
Retail, you can only have one.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's all you get.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
it.
It's the same way. Yeah.
Right. That I would want
Yeah.
to keep those big guys at bay.
Yeah.
Because we don't want the boogeyman coming here.
Yeah.
Stay there.
For sure.
Because that's where the takeover happens. And, I stress everybody, like, I'm the motherfucker that wants to go walk the other way when we're talking politics.
Right.
But because federal rec is right around the corner, our state needs to do something about this.
Yeah, and I mean, I think a lot of people are not sure what's going on with the federal side of things. You know what I mean? And if it sits in the substance abuse program in the category, it's still going to be illegal no matter how you look at it. So unless it comes off that schedule, which none of us see that shit happening anytime soon, unless something just freaking dynamic happens, it's going to be the same old shit. It's rec, 21 adult use. It's the same old shit. If you don't have a license, you're going to jail for growing, or maybe you live in Michigan and you're lucky you just get fined now. You know what I mean? But what's the incentive to bring people to the table if there's no licenses for them? You know what I mean? What's the incentive? If you start limiting licenses, we go back and forth to it, right? If you start limiting licenses, the black market in Hawaii is going to go tell you to screw yourself. These guys have been around herb for 60 years, dude. Selling packs from the mainland of some of the best indoor you ever hit your fucking mouth 30 years ago. You know what I mean? So it's like, you're not gonna go there with it. You need to open it up, and even the kind from Maine will say, bring everybody into the light, man.
Yeah.
There's no reason. There's no fear. We're not talking about penalties anymore. We're not talking about criminalization anymore. We're talking about building our ohana again, and all of us being on the same page, no matter how eclectic Hawaii is. You know what I mean? So,
and we're there.
We got our clans.
We're there, and the division's good. I think some division to a certain extent is good, but the things we've talked about, that's a no-brainer. You know what I mean? Like, unlimited license. That's a fucking no-brainer. That's how you keep the money in Hawaii, right? Fits into anybody's narrative at that point in time. Testing weed on your own accord. If you want to test weed on your own accord, go for it. Because I tell you one thing, like, what's sad for me is watching the black market, or what they call the gray market, watching that, and how much people are taking advantage of it without using their talents, right? They're just brokering cheap mainland weed over here and just spinning it off in some fucking fuzzy-ass marketing scheme, right?
Right.
That to me is unfortunate because Hawaii has its own identity and its own niche, and that should be showcased more.
And that's how you build it back. You know what I mean? You give us this medical bill and you let us go, we build it all over again. You know what I mean? So if you're bringing in shit from the mainland, that shit better be fucking fire. It ain't even gonna fucking hit our people, because I can tell you that right now.
Well, that shit should be out skis, because like they're bringing in fucking hella cheap ass herb. You know what I mean?
But it's never gonna make it, right? Because we're already gonna have, affordable medicine here. $150, $200 ounce, outdoor, indoor. You know what I mean? We're already gonna have it affordable here. If you want to pay less for that, and you want that shitty quality, please, by all means. It's not going to last you very long, because once you start smoking on this and something that's local or something that's done very, very well, your tune's going to change so quick. I don't care if you're a tourist or if you're a person. You're going to get it, and it's going to be like, I know where to get my shit right now. I'm going to Grow Guru. I know he's got the motherfucking fucking Silver Haze shit. I'm looking him up as soon as I hit Hawaii. Or, and Grow Guru is going to go, well, I know Jay. He's got some fucking banner down the road. That motherfucker's got some good shit, too. That's how we do this, man. We keep sharing this energy, man. So there's fucking good weed all over the place, and people are having fun, and we're making money, and we're growing agriculture crops, and we're fucking getting people out the fucking street, and we're not letting these politicians take advantage of us, man, over and over again, man.
I just love the fact that I could contribute monetarily now as a business, a legal business. Like, where my family would be like, you fucking stoner. Now it's like, no, I'm actually contributing fucking taxes to something I wanted to go to. I want my kids to be fucking chipper growing up to school, like having everything that they need. Your boy the same way. Going to school, hey, fucking let me see your school lunch. Oh, that thing looks bomb. Your teacher, what is her credentials? Oh, she's this. Oh, she gets paid 6 figures. That's why. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see that for the kids. And if cannabis, as whatever I can do to contribute, if I could, as a small business, give money, give taxes to that, that's a fucking win-win, bro. Once was considered something like a negative leisure. You know what I mean? You're a
Yeah.
fucking loser. You're a stoner.
Well, I mean, and the whole loser stoner thing really comes to, children getting cannabis, right?
Mhm.
We didn't have the adults around us who are mentoring us and going, hey, this is a special thing, man. This is a medicinal plant. This
Yep.
is a very special thing. If you're going to go out and try this, let it inspire you, keep fucking positive, you know what I mean? And like, if you want to call us stoners and you want to be involved in this, maybe you should have been parenting and been around a little bit more. You know what I mean? And I think that's a big deal, right? Is like when you have the people that are around you, the medicinal people and the medicinal women and men, the drive is so different. It's like it's not this really preconceived reefer madness crap. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful thing, man.
it's a normalcy.
It's
you know?
normal. There we go again. Yeah,
I like that.
yeah,
It should be normal.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
May brought up another good point. DUIs in bills. Is the DUI in this bill at all?
I think the DUI. No, this bill's too small. This is like,
Okay.
this is fucking
So
law enforcement for people who don't have a dispensary license.
Oh,
And
shit.
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
bullshit. Yeah, the rec bill would be addressing DUIs and stuff like that.
got you.
and,
This one was more like, okay, this bill is gonna make it so that Department of Health isn't the regulatory entity; it's HPD, correct?
Well, no, this bill is what's our bill again?
1429.
Man, I can't remember these bills.
Is there? Wait, hold on.
I
Let
went
me,
1421.
let me double check that
Yeah,
shit. Let me just double
everybody
check.
knows. Yeah.
1429. Goddamn.
You got
Fuck
it.
that.
Thanks. We need someone to keep us in check.
I'm good.
SB 1429 was a bill that was put in by the governor because they squashed the caregiver program, and so he wanted to bring it back through a bill to give it legs again, right? What happened was they hoodwinked his bill and started putting all this law enforcement shit in here saying that, hey, we're going to allow this caregiver program to have 1-to-1, which is a bunch of bullshit. But by the way, we're going to sit in the back here and we're going to let DOH send out cease and desist to people who aren't following their 5-car limits. Or we're going to fine them $5,000. Or a Class C felony. We're going to throw all this shit into this bill, what was supposed to be a freaking allow the caregiver to happen. You know what I mean? And which was already a broken bill anyways. But anyways, yeah. So that's, we're fighting this stuff. And that's, everybody needs to be aware of what DOH is up to right now and their mindset right now. And just a quick thing for all the listeners out there, our old DOH Office of Cannabis Policy person, which I don't get that right all the time either, was Michelle Nakata, right? She was, learning but complacent. She had lots of time to write cooperative agreements. She could have done a lot of stuff. I know they're overworked by running dispensaries, but she was replaced with the District Attorney General of Hawaii, which is Lopez, I believe, assistant for 10 years, is now running our cannabis medical program, okay? This reminds me of when the cannabis program first started, it was a narcotics enforcement division. So here we are again. We have a law enforcement person background running the cannabis program. And this is the problem, and that's why they have to be put in check. This person needs to be removed. Emergency, 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 motherfuckers. We're coming. So please, everybody be aware. There's going to be language coming out. We're going to need help with testimony when they're going to give this bill a date again, coming up probably next week, to try and do some more damage. So there's going to be a lot going on. So please follow us. Yeah.
It's so interesting because I've talked to him before. I've had a conversation with Andrew, and like, it seems as though he knew what was going on as far as like the progression and what we're talking about. It's agreeance, like whatever we were talking about. We had that conversation. And it was an agreement.
Was that recent?
That was pretty recent.
Yeah. So my last conversation with Andrew was last year dealing with a bill similar to this. And I talked to him. I said, what's the big deal here? Why are you guys so held up on this crap? Why are you limiting cards and, diversion? And, we don't want people carrying around 20 pounds of weed. I'm like, what's the problem with someone carrying around 20 pounds of weed if they have a slip with it that says they're allowed to carry 20 pounds of weed to wherever? You know what I mean? And so, I was having this conversation with him, but I can tell you, truthfully, he might have picked up his par a little bit. But last year, he didn't even know what THC potency was. He's like, we can't have 95% THC. I'm like, whoa there, partner. Do you even know what that means? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there, he's very law enforcement side of things. And, I don't believe, it's funny. We were just watching testimony the other day on this bill. It was Wednesday, I think it was. And Kim Coco said, what's the big deal with the card limit stuff, and what are we talking about, diversion and stuff? And he couldn't answer it, dude. He was stuck. You know what I mean? Because they know they're full of shit, man. It's just horrible stuff. It's horrible stuff. Yeah, yeah. Let's just scare people. Let's scare the politicians. To think that,
it's so way out of proportion if you look at it from a practical standpoint, right?
Yeah.
Would you agree, Eric?
Yeah.
And like, there's so much smoke and mirrors that's going on. I get fucking super confused now, like, because like the dude I'm talking to, is the same dude you're talking to.
Yeah, yeah.
Knew a lot.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
Yeah. Yep,
And I'm like,
exactly.
wow, this is an educated man. Like he's.
But if he's that educated, brother, why is he sitting in testimony right now going, we think that a 1 to 5 caregiver where someone's taking care of 50 plants, that medicine could be diverted and it's not tested. There you go, man.
Well, specifically, what does diversion mean?
It means it's going to the black market, man. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So here we are talking about medical patients and diversion again in the black market. It's like, do
Yeah,
you know
but
what your black market is, brother?
It went in a totally different, because the black market's not coming from Hawaii.
Right. Yeah.
It's not, dude.
Yeah.
Like, go slap some rules on FedEx and
Yeah.
fucking USPS, because those are the biggest drug dealers out here, dude.
Well, it's
For
like,
real.
It's like being a rookie cop, right? You're trying to learn really quick,
Right.
but you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I had conversations with them about the Maine medical bill, right?
Yeah.
Him and Liam from DOH, they both told me the regulators over there said it's a shit show. I'm like, so you were talking to regulators. Did you ever talk to the people on the ground that are actually running these businesses? And this is straight out of Andrew Goff's mouth. We can't talk to those people. We only talk to regulators. I'm like, well, that's your fucking problem then, man. If you keep talking regulator message and you keep talking regulator this and you don't really know what's going on the ground, you're failing, man. And you owe people more than that to be just a regulator, dude. Step outside of your skin, man. Put a different hat on for 5 minutes and go visit somewhere and freaking use your common sense, And he didn't have it at all, man. None of them did, as a matter of fact. Yeah, none of them did, as a matter of fact.
It's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
And
Next time I'll record that shit for you.
I don't understand how, like, you could not factor in the possible benefits that could come. You know what I mean?
Law
Like,
enforcement can't do that, brother. Law
I mean,
enforcement's law enforcement.
the fucking taxes, like, we
Yeah.
would pay. Honestly,
Yeah.
if I had a legal business, I would love law enforcement to be around, because I'd be carrying some cash that I would want them to be helping me out with.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, fuck.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I mean, I'll give you another shit. I'm just going to start popping Maine at you, man. Law enforcement, okay? I was talking to a lady who owned a dispensary in a small town. And the police force said to her, if you're doing business after 7 p.m., would you mind doing it in the police parking lot? Because we just don't want anything to happen to you. This is how law enforcement looks at medical cannabis in Maine now.
Right.
They don't anymore. It's over.
and that should be the
game's
MO of
up.
police, is to protect and serve.
Protect people. It's up. They support it now. The game is up, man. The game is up. Yep. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
we can protect our local people from having a flood of outside influence and keep that motto, I'm game for it.
It's game, dude.
Yep.
Yeah, it's game on. You know what I mean? It's we'll spend a lot of time in these meetings going, well, we need to poll people to see what needs to be done here. Okay, we're all growers here, and we know what the fuck needs to be done, okay? You don't need a poll to say how many growers you need. I mean, that's where I go wrong with Kai. I love what Kai's doing, but him trying to reinvent the wheel through polling in our state is wrong. We're all growers. We know how it works. We know how to get it to the market. We already know all this stuff. Now give us the program that's the most successful in the United States, please. Just give it to us so we know it works, and we know it's small business, and it keeps the big boys out, and we're freaking thriving. You know what I mean? So
I would think that the politicians would want more. You know what I mean? Because Hawaii is so tentative in how they move.
yeah.
We're not really progressive. We like to watch other states and how they fuck up or how they're
Yeah.
successful.
Yeah.
So like showing them a model of Maine, yeah, that's cool, but I think they would want more. You know what I mean? Like it's hard, and like protecting their nut, I think it's their MO.
Well, I mean, you look at even what the tax dollar was, how much Maine made in some of their medical program stuff. They made millions, you know what I mean? And so, I think, allowing them to do anything is just bullshit. And, this place is run so heavy by, the feds. You know what I mean, man? The feds are involved in everything here, man. When you see a movement like, let's say, dispensaries, right? Why did we make dispensaries, man? Because they couldn't fucking do anything else. It was
Right.
not going to happen, man.
Right.
I mean, after all the work done with everybody, why did dispensaries end up the only fucking game in town with 8 of them? That's power, dude. That's
Yeah.
federal power right there, boy.
And
That's-
there's a
yeah.
place for them too. Like I look at this as all positive, right?
Yeah.
There's a place for them because they cannot have that number 400,000.
Yeah.
And then let's say we smoke a gram a day,
Yeah.
like a normal fucking
Yeah.
human being that smokes weed.
Yeah.
That's a pound a year. So
Yeah.
400,000 pounds a year. The dispensaries cannot put that out. I'm sorry, they cannot. They're
Yeah.
gonna need a horizontal market.
Hey, and there's a place for them. It's called a fucking small building, motherfuckers. Y'all get a small space like we get a small space, and we fucking do the free market, man. You grow better weed than me, you're gonna sell more weed than me. I grow better weed than you, I'm gonna sell more weed than you. It's called the free market, motherfuckers. You don't get to start off with 4 storefronts, 200,000 square foot grow spots. Sorry, man.
Yeah.
No. You're already big business. There is no room for you. You get to squash down to what we are gonna be.
And this is where
Yeah.
Softy Kalei comes in, and I'm like, you know what? Keep what you guys have,
Okay, I'm cool with that.
and let's cap it out,
Yep.
and then we can horizontally all do business together. So if like you caught a fire in your grow,
Yeah.
I got you.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the shit that we need to have to keep Hawaii on its own sustainable
Yeah.
without anybody,
Yeah.
In the whole sprocket of this, the dispensaries do have their place in there. I'll never say, fuck them, get out, because people feel comfortable going there.
I'll do that for you. Fuck them. Get out. People feel comfortable coming into farms with the gate open where they can walk in with their children.
Yeah.
People feel comfortable going in where they don't have to show their ID and fucking say, hey, out of my way, security with a gun. Fuck them, man. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Man? Unless you want to set your model up like that, and we're cool. Now they got waiting rooms coming through where your family can come in. Well, that's convenient. You know what I mean? But, hey, man, if you're a dispensary owner and you haven't stepped up to protect what's ours right now, I got no support for you, man. I'm sorry, man, but that's where you should have been. You've been doing this long enough with your investors where you could have peeled off and said, hey, maybe we support these guys. You know what I mean? We don't need to shut these guys down. They're no threat to us. We have 4 storefronts. Why are we shutting down card givers? There's so much testimony from all these guys going against the stacking card system because it's not fair. They don't have regulations. I'm like, motherfucker, we don't have 4 storefronts with fucking that we can feed anybody we want coming through the door, man, that has a medical card.
And
you know?
let's do the numbers here,
Yeah,
right?
man.
You say 5,000 square feet. 5,000 square feet, a 4x4 light is 4x4, right? 16 square feet. So
Yeah.
32 square feet is what a tray would be, right?
Yeah.
32 divided by fucking 5,000 is what, Eric? Like 100. It's like 100 some odd trays.
I don't know why the fuck you asking
Are you
me
talking
that
about
number.
indoor, though, right?
Indoor.
Yeah, I think
let's
indoor, we're trying to kind of like clip that down a little bit.
well,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
entertain these
Yeah,
numbers,
yeah.
right? So let's say
Let's entertain a 5,000 square foot greenhouse.
okay.
Let's do that.
Well, let's do tangible numbers that it's a standard in California.
Okay.
So
Okay.
a pack per light, you get
Okay.
what did we say? Like 160 trays in 5,000 square foot, fucking nose to ass, right? You're getting 2 packs per light, 2 packs per tray. I mean, 100. That's like fucking 300 fucking packs every 2 months. At $2,000 a pack, that's $600,000 coming in every 2 months. $300,000 a month.
And our people that we had coming to Waialua use about 4 ounces a month. So there's your math, man. And
Yeah.
that was like freaking 1,000 people, not even 40,000, not
you
even
see?
100,000, not even a million, not even 500,000. You know what I mean? So a lot of people think, well, you can saturate. I'm like, you're not going to saturate, man.
No,
You're
it's-
going to open this free market up, and everybody's going to have fun, man. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
sure.
There's the demand is there
Doubt about it, man. Just from the local people,
across the board.
not even the tourists.
Right.
Add those motherfuckers with reciprocity and medical cards. It's gone crazy. You're not even gonna be able to keep up with all of it. That's,
Right.
That's why you can't. That's why open license is so important, right?
And that's why the Hawaii Tourism Authority should see those numbers and be like, whoa, hold on. Let's fucking now rebrand Hawaii as this cannabis utopia and come in and fucking just squash. People
Yeah.
would love that. Like how fucking, I think Ja was saying, was it Ja or Chris was saying about like hotels, or was it you? It was probably
Probably
you.
me.
Where hotels
Probably
would
him.
be cannabis friendly.
Yeah.
And wow, watch
Yeah.
that. Like
Well, and you have to get a hold of those people, right? Like you got to get a hold of the Korean tourism, the Japanese tourism, because those people are sitting in reefer madness meetings right now.
and
I've seen them all.
And
so.
there's some Japanese that are really progressive that
Oh,
are like,
yeah.
huh,
Oh, yeah.
I see a business plan,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
There's also a lot of Japanese who are into Rasta culture and just want to be able to smoke weed.
Totally,
Yeah.
because you can't get it in Japan like you can get it here in Hawaii.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And this is its own
Yeah.
unique place in the world.
Yeah. And I think it just comes back to, these people, we have to share this ideas with them, right? Like I've been in the Reefer Madness meetings with Prosecutor the chief of police, being the only grower in there, and the motherfuckers just look at me like, that's the motherfucker they raided. Don't even talk to him, you know what I mean? But it's just happening, man. And when you have like, Linda Lingual or, Mayor Bellotti coming on going, well, I've got my virtues. I'm like, it's time to change them, man. You need to educate yourself, and you need to move on with this medicinal plant so we can all move on, you know what I mean? And those people are in charge, right? These people are the tourism board people. These are the head of the health clinics. These people are still stuck in reefer madness, man. I'm telling you, right in front of my face, I seen a guy say, well, she was using cement shoes, ha, ha, ha. And I had a chance to kind of add a little talk to that. I'm like, by the way, Mr. Medical Man, she's using cement shoes, which is a really nice, strong indica that feels like you got shoes on because she's dealing with pain. Are we all in agreement here that this is a medicinal plant and we're using this for medical purposes, but we're getting caught up on a word called cement shoes so you can make fun of it and be against this? And he's like, holy shit, you're right. And there you have it, man.
And who's to say that cannabis has to follow any model? Like the pharmaceutical model, the fucking alcohol model. Why can't it just be its own?
It has to be.
It has to be.
There's no other way to be it.
There's too much intricacies in cannabis for it to be.
It has to be an agriculture product. It has to be removed from it has to be freaking repealed. That's all it can be. If it's anything other than that, there's too much involved in it, right? There's too much laws, regulations. It's got to be free. That's the way we got to be getting into it. It's even hard to pass this main medical bill onto like people who are more libertarian because they're like, well, but you can get a fine if you're not at the canopy space. I'm like, well, we're trying to start somewhere, guys, here. It's fucking not easy, but at least we're not doing seed to sale tracking and testing and having the state all in everybody's asses. We're trying to find something that will work here that we can force them to take because they're not taking anything, man. So, and that's the hardest part, man. It's just, it's free in cannabis is taking so long to do,
Right.
And it's still where it is, right? You're like, holy shit, man. You think you're free, and people out there enjoying their money and making money and doing this, while all the others of us are still getting raided. Some people are getting in prison still, you know what I mean? Now, all this stuff is still happening under adult rec 21. Okay, man? Let's just be clear about that. That's not legalization. That's adult use 21 rec, man. Big difference, man.
Big difference.
Free the plant, dude. It's done.
I just get fucking jaded when I see these people flaunting their money and trying to be that rap boy and totally ruining the image of what we're trying to do. Because yes, cannabis is it has that culture and I see that subculture, but that subculture is contradictive of what we're trying to do because it's a medicine that we're trying to plug out there.
Yeah.
And to have it contribute positive, because these guys who are flaunting their cash, none of which goes back into the community, stays with them.
Well, you could generalize a little bit, but I think what you're getting into is like we've really got to put this whole cannabis thing into some categories. There's the 25% of we're getting high, money, money, money. Who gives a shit? Let's have fun with this. You know what I mean? The other parts of them are housing, homelessness, shelter, food, agriculture. Okay. Yeah. We're going to give you the 25%. We're sitting on a podcast called Everybody Knows You're High, right? We learned that from when we were children because get the Visine out, everybody knows you're high, you know what I mean? But it's a joke in a way, but we want you to really understand when you're watching this podcast, we are not a bunch of stoners. We are very intelligent people, and we can make some moves, and that's what we're doing right now. And we're trying to share with people, hey, we can find humor with this, and we can enjoy each other's time, but we definitely got some business to take care of, and we're about to do it. So, and that's where we are right now, So your 25% high time is rolling. Here we are. But this other 75%, we're fighting for you people to get this plant freed, man. It's got to go. It's got to go.
Yes. Hawaii has a lot of fucking, a lot of correcting and upgrading to do, man. And I think we can help out. We have a lot of talented fucking people here, man. Like over my, it's coming on 10 years now? 10 years? Consulting people and watching people grow, the same people like my year one people, right. And watching them now, they got their Instagram accounts, and I'm like, dang, you're doing good. Yeah. That makes me fucking satisfied. What I did and I contributed. Yeah. But
Imagine if all this reefer madness wouldn't have happened, though. Your uncle was already teaching how to grow when you were a kid.
Light years.
And look how beautiful it would be, dude. I mean, like, this is really, that's the point, right? It's like, this was already there before Nixon put this on a fucking bad list, right? We were already fucking rocking. This was going to be, Puna had fucking car districts and fucking, I mean, come on, man. This was happening, man. You know what I mean? So, we want it back. We want it back now and get out of our way. You know what I mean? So
it was mental how we lost it in the first place,
Yep.
man. We fucking
Get out of
should
our
have
way.
had that shit
Get
all
out
the
of our
way through.
Yeah, and if you can't be the politicians to do it, then we'll hire new politicians. You know what I mean? If you can't be the people that can support the people anymore, then we'll find new people to support us. You know what I mean?
But don't they work for us though?
No, they don't work for us, man. Yeah, I mean they do, but there's the few that work for us and the few that don't. You know what I mean? And I
They're
think,
supposed to work for us though,
there's a lot of shit going on up there. Hawaii's a big place. You go down and hear a cannabis bill and you hear fucking 5,000 other bills about geothermal and shit, and you're just like, there's fucking 50, whatever it is, 40, so many 26 Senate, 46 reps, and you're like, wait a minute, you guys are going over like 300 bills between like 70 people. You're like, that's a broken system already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, that's just broken all the way. You know what I mean?
I
So,
agree.
yeah, how are you supposed to make a good bill with cannabis when you're talking about geothermal or freaking, midwifery? You know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck is going on? It's confusing for them. You know what I mean?
Changing those gears has got to be hard on them too.
Yeah.
I mean, I give them props.
Yeah.
Being a politician is fucking, I bet, not easy. I don't want that job. Thank you for taking it.
I think it would be easy. I
think
think you
so?
could pull it off in a second. You could start everybody's high in fucking room 23, fucking Representative fucking Kalei and be rolling, dude. Don't even sweat
You heard it
dude.
first, guys.
Don't even sweat it. It's easy, dude. Yeah,
do
yeah.
that.
You could be
I mean,
running for office
Yeah,
next
yeah.
time we hear from you.
Yeah.
fucking do
I mean,
that.
I don't want to insult a pygmy chimp because those motherfuckers are intelligent, but they're fucking all over the place just rolling in going, hey, man, what's going on here? You know what I mean? So, I'll give you a great example, and I don't like to pull people out, but sometimes I do, man. I was in an elevator with Representative Favela, you know what I mean? Kurt Favela,
Jesus.
right? You know what I mean? And I said, hey, man, what are you guys doing with this medical bill? It's like you got to do something. This card thing's going. He's like, who sent that bill? And I'm like, Awa. And he's like, Awa doesn't even support this bill. I'm like, did you read any of the testimony? What we're talking about? You don't even know what you're talking about, right? That's where we are, right? It's just, who's really reading the testimony? Who's really taking the time to understand all this stuff? And is it just a mockery that we need to see through and say, hey, time's up, people?
That's so frustrating.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Yeah.
So fucking
But it gives you direction,
irritating.
right? Oh, okay, we need to go somewhere else with this. You know what I mean? And you look who's running now, the Hawaii cannabis, what were they called? The HCIA, you know what I mean?
Randy?
That was running all the dispensaries are trying to get along and run the Hawaii
Cannabis Alliance?
Yeah. Association, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Guess who's running that now?
Who?
An old lobbyist. Yeah. Freaking what's his name?
That's got to be illegal.
Same
That's
old
a
shit,
that's a
dude.
conflict of
Same
interest.
old shit, man. Yep. Same old shit. It's all a conflict of interest, and that's the problem, right? That's
my
the whole problem.
gosh,
Yeah.
And
That's the whole
that's the jaded shit that I feel that when I start to see that track,
problem.
I'm like, oh.
But if you don't know about it, you're nothing. But if you know about it, now you're powerful, right?
Yeah.
And the more people that know about it, the more powerful we are, right? That's the things that need to happen. But you got to be careful how you engage with these people because they're powerful, right? They're powerful people, man. And so you got to be very, you got to be smart. Be smart about it, man.
Oh,
You know what I mean, man?
jeez.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
Be smart. Yeah.
That's so that's so intimidating that
Yeah.
you got to talk to these motherfuckers and they work for us. What the
Yeah.
fuck? Why am
Yeah.
I afraid talking to you guys?
Yeah.
Like you guys work. I vote, bitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Fuck, this sucks.
Yeah.
Can we pause for a bathroom break?
Yeah, for sure, dude.
Sure.
All right.
I think the fucking the social equity though that would pertain to Hawaii would be an initiative to keep the locals here, right? So like if you had a birth certificate that would say that you were born here, you're a resident here, currently are a resident that
Right.
wants to be a small business owner, I think there should be a program designed to where we recognize that. Because like Chris said it, Cannabis Society of Hawaii said it perfectly. It's like we are on stolen land. And that's something that us locals and Kanaka can't get over and probably will never get over because there's no retribution for that the land that's been lost, right?
Right.
So I think that it's owed to us to have a little bit of chip in our direction, like, hey, dude, we'll call this a social equity program, but we really want you guys to have some sort of ability to recuperate from what we took.
But what does the chip look like? Are you talking about money? Are you talking about
Head
land?
start.
You know what I mean?
Head start,
Yeah,
maybe some fundage.
Okay. Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
like if
yeah.
testing's a requirement to cover those costs.
Yeah.
You know, permitting, push
Right.
us up to the top of the level, so we're not waiting 3 years for permitting.
Right.
Like those small little things that would help out someone that would drown a small business.
Right.
You know,
Right.
that kind of perks. Not like, hey,
Where does it end though? So
It
that's
sh-
the problem. You know what I
so
mean?
it should end up into the market, where like the testing, yes, we can help you out. The permitting, yes, we can help you get a spot. Yes, as far as like qualifications and loans and stuff like that.
Right.
Yes, we're able to do that for you.
Right.
But that's where it ends. As far as your product, marketing, advertising, whatever licenses you're going for, like you said, apply, you're in.
Right.
But we'll give you this head start.
Right.
Because a lot of companies, they start from grassroots, and you know, even
so you're saying, like, let's say someone gets a $2,500 license through our bill, right? You know what I mean? But they don't have any startup money to really build a greenhouse or whatever, something like that. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
because there's a dead time,
Yeah.
like anything else, in producing cannabis. You know,
Sure.
bringing your crops up, building your irrigations, and all this
Right.
infrastructure.
Right.
So allowing us that time to operate, maybe keeping out some competition. I don't know how you would word that constitutionally, but
Well, remember, the competition's just going to be us. So
let's hope so.
that's the beautiful
though.
thing about it. I mean, you know, come on, who's going to want to come over here and set up a 5,000 square foot grow spot and try to challenge the local people? You know what I mean? That's gonna be a
I remember
difficult
you
one.
saying that the last one, but I was thinking about that, and
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, if we don't put in the verbatim where you can only have one license as even
Sure,
an
yeah.
investor,
Yeah,
because I
sure.
see people being like, hey,
Yeah.
you know what?
Yeah.
Here's 20% investment,
Sure.
and I'll go to the next guy and the next guy.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So there's
Right.
one guy running secretly
Right.
5.
Right.
That's what I want to try and
no,
avoid.
that's accountability. There's no doubt about it. And there can only be one name on that business. You know what I
Right.
mean? And if and I think a lot of this, what's really cool about it is when you start to build these types of programs, we all kind of get connected, right? And so it's nice to say, well, we know who's growing around the island. You know what I mean? We know what's going on. We know who's in the light now. You know what I mean? What are you doing? What's going on? And and there are some checks and balances on that stuff. You know what I mean? If you have to keep books, right? You have to do these things, right? So if there's some weird shit going on, people can step in and change things, right? But I think for all of us, it's right back to the free market, right? The bartering market, whatever it may be. You know what I mean? And it's never, I think the whole idea is to try and build this so we can all enjoy it and people aren't suffering. You know what I mean? And I think when you're talking about equity, I look at it more like it's dealing with the food, the housing, all that stuff. That to me is the equity part of it, right? It's like, okay, we're going to do this and we might be more successful than you, but we're going to give this all back to deal with food, you know what I mean? And I think that's kind of where I look at it, is the equity part of it is like, now we get to fucking live. You know what I mean, man?
Right. That equity part of it, yeah, you're right completely. And I think that wording should be reworded, as because social equity is such a general term, right? We need to be more specific on Native Hawaiian rights, but like again, like the unconstitutional thing pops up, and I think anywhere in the United States, other than Native Americans, would that hold up?
Yeah. I mean, everybody's been screwed, Kalei. You know what I mean, man? It's sad, dude. And I come from the mainland, and I tell you, my upbringing as a child was not fucking cool either. I can tell you that right now. And I had a lot taken from me as well. You know what I mean? And I could feel it in my body. So I think it's just about how do we change the future, man? How do we bring everybody back into harmony and just fucking move on, right? We can sit in the past and we can fucking say this, this, and this. Do you want to be happy, or do you want to be do you want to be,
have retribution?
Yeah. Do you want to be amended for the past? You know what I mean? Is it owed to you? You know what I mean? Do we keep going down that road? You know what I mean? What is enough? What's not enough? You know what I mean? I know there are certain things that we could do that, but let's move on, man. I think if we move on and we get some of this really good structure in place with the people, not the government, then we can go back in time and go, hey, man, well, what about boy down the road that has nothing? He's living under a bridge and he's was one of the best growers in Hawaii, or it's like, then we were like, let's go.
I think what's
It's
owed
on.
to us, like, if it wasn't tangible, then I'd say yeah. But since it's kind of a tangible thing, like land,
Right. Yeah.
So that's the hard part. Is
Yeah.
like, maybe a land back initiative with cannabis.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, you
Well,
guys
look
can
at all
have,
this fallow land that Dolo owns. Look at all this shit everywhere. I mean, that's prime. I mean, and I agree with you 100% on that.
Yeah, man.
It's on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's on.
giving
you
ag
know?
land to
Yeah.
people of Hawaii to have a business model.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
I said this before. Is like when I bought my house, I bought it from Bishop Estate. I'm like,
Wow.
bitch,
Wow.
no discount. What the fuck, man? Like, oh god.
Wow, it's bought from Bishop Estate.
Yeah,
Wow.
so it's like I had to
Wow.
buy. It was a leasehold, right? So I had to
Yeah.
buy the land.
Right.
But I'm like, I'm fucking Native Hawaiian. Isn't
Right,
this what
right.
Bernice would have wanted?
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like for me
yeah.
as a Hawaiian to be a
Yeah.
homeowner,
Give us a
right?
handshake and we're done.
Fuck, dude, come on,
Yeah.
spit on it when you penetrate me, man. Fuck.
Yeah, and then, I think you bring up a very valid thing. Is like there's only so many things we can control right now. You know what I mean? So, but when we get the power and we are people that are do-gooders and we're moving forward with positive programs, we can start to, manifest and start take control of some of those things. You know what I mean, man? Getting land back to people. The stuff that seems so unrealistic right now. But you know what? Smoking joint in the public right now and getting arrested right now was unrealistic 60 years ago. And look where we are right now. So there is shit that can happen, man. And I think that's how we have to move forward. We have to be powerful and compassionate and moving forward and understand that, hey, it's not just my journey. It's not just Kalei's journey. It's not just Eric's journey. It's everybody's journey. Everybody's got to be in on this, man. People cannot be fucking suffering, And that's when we even did the Waialua thing, man. When we opened the gates up, it was like, where are you going to stop at 100 people now? I'm like, what am I supposed to fucking do? Shut the gate on them and go, no, you can't get medicine here if you change your grow site and grow here. No, it's like, that's where it all started. It was like, it's not even in my control. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And,
that shit snowballs real quick,
yeah,
bro.
and you're just like, this is where we're going. And then you're looking at the books and you're going, there's 2,000 fucking members on this farm. This is fucking crazy. You know what I mean? You're just like losing your mind. But then you see, hey, look at this potential for 2,000 people on one farm that, could be spread out 50 or 100,000 people over 500 or 1,000 farms.
Mm-hmm.
It's massive.
I mean,
It's beautiful.
500,000 people smoke, motherfuckers.
Yeah, and people want to come there and get product from you. They want to be part of it. They want to join your events. They want to go to hash sings, cannabis cups. They want to hang out together and smoke weed in a place that's fucking awesome. You know what I mean? That's what they want to do, man.
Right.
Fucking give it to them, man.
Right.
You know what I mean, man? Give it to them, And the more they get it, their friends hang out. Then all of a sudden they bring a friend that's like anti-cannabis and they're like, wow,
This is cool.
this is way fucking cooler than I ever thought it was. And I'm not even smoking. This is fucking cool. So it's like, that's the way forward, man. You know
Yeah,
what mean?
I like that easygoing vibe.
Yeah.
I like that that harmonious vibe.
Yeah.
I've felt that in a couple of places.
Yes.
Like your jazz event.
Yeah, man.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And everyone's listening to music.
Yeah.
It's got this tone to it.
Yeah.
Where everyone kind of just follows suit without
Yeah.
even having to be told.
Not even thinking about it. You know what I mean? And a big thing that happened to us is we stopped doing alcohol in a lot of events.
That's what's up.
And that was a big, big game changer, man. Like if you've never seen it, we had a dead show the other day, and those guys are old school drinkers, and so you got to just honor that and go, it's all cool. You're responsible, right? But seeing now the events without alcohol in them, especially for the younger generations and stuff like that, is fucking mind-boggling, man.
Yeah.
It's almost like, what the hell just happened here? This is the most peaceful, dramatic show we just had. You know what I mean? And that's alcohol's driving a lot of that. It's pretty insane.
100%,
Yeah,
man.
pretty insane. Yeah.
Any major rager you go to,
Oh, God.
someone's getting fucking trashed.
Yeah.
There's fights.
Yep,
you
and that
know?
was probably me back in the day. So look
Yeah.
out. Yep, yeah, it's horrible.
Look at
Horrible.
Waikiki on St. Patty's.
Yeah.
That's a perfect example,
yeah,
man.
And
What,
would
the
you be seeing?
the
if people-
gunshots you talking about?
Yeah.
And what would
crazy.
you be seeing if people were walking down with a hash pipe or a big joint or something?
Hugging.
Exactly, dude. You know what I mean, man? You're not going to see no silly shit like that. People are with their wit when they're stoned. They are
Yeah.
with their wit. They are not beyond their wit where they're going to make bad decisions. It's just not. That's
The
not,
inhibition's still there.
yeah, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're,
man.
you're not just
Yeah.
fucking full
Yeah.
big dolo
And I'm
out.
talking
You know.
about, I'm talking about mature people. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about teenage kids and stuff. I'm talking about people who
Adults.
know what's right or wrong and they make great decisions. I mean, it's like, come on, man. And
Kids are gonna be kids, and they're gonna make dumb decisions
That's
no
right.
matter what the fuck.
Yeah, man. That's
Sober
right.
it.
And we can parent those guys to death. That's all good.
Right.
You know? But the whole alcohol in our industry is just fucking mind-boggling how much that's ruined lives.
How much anti-cannabis people that are lobbying? Well, how much people are
Drink.
lobbying against cannabis
That's right.
are actually pro-alcohol?
And they need to see that, right? It doesn't make sense to them, right? They're like, it's no big deal. It doesn't make sense. And then, you know, when you've been through this enough and you walk through Costco and you're like, look at all this alcohol. I've never even thought twice about how this is open for public. You can see it. They advertise. You're like, why isn't this cannabis? You're like, holy
But they tell
shit.
it's because they tell you to drink responsibly. Like they
Yeah,
cover their bases.
yeah.
Like, but
Smoke responsibly.
here's all this
yeah.
alcohol. You can buy as much as you
Yeah.
want, but drink responsibly, folks.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I remember my
Yeah.
sister, who was completely anti-weed. I'm gonna put her on blast because fuck you.
Yeah. Sis.
Dude, fucking totally anti-weed.
Sure.
Sends me a picture of my nephew holding a fucking Heineken bottle.
Yep. Yep.
What?
Yeah.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah, because we don't know better, right? I mean, that's the whole thing.
Right.
You can't even put those two together until you're in this world for a while. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, I kind of compare it to like not having children, you know, and saying I didn't want to have children because of this, this, and this, but you'll never understand what it's like to have children unless you've had them, right? You'll never understand what alcohol and the fight for alcoholism is until you see cannabis becoming legal, right? You're like, oh shit, wow, this makes sense now, right? This alcohol industry is one of the most powerful people in the world, and there's very few people in it. You know, you look at maybe the Costco shelves and you go, is this small craft beer makers? Nope. Hell no, man. And that's what we want here. We want
Corn
small,
syrup,
yeah, we want
fucking
we want
synthesized
small
shit.
craft people all over this place. You know
That's
I
what we
mean, man?
want.
Yeah,
We want
'em everywhere.
diversity.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
Having fun, man. Yeah.
No, my family
fun.
has a long line of alcoholics. Like
Oh god.
it's
horrible.
fucking. I grew up
Yeah.
around that, and I was thinking like,
Yeah.
what if they were all stoners? I would be brought up in a completely compassionate household.
Yeah. Yeah.
It wouldn't be this fucking alpha male fucking shit. You know what I mean? It would
Yeah.
be compassionate. Like, what type of person would I have been if I was raised around weed?
And you'd have been stupid and silly, you know what I mean? You wouldn't have seen the violence, right? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's like, when COVID hit, man, me and my wife started spending a lot of time together, right? And we weren't hanging out at parties and functions and stuff, and we basically just stopped drinking. And when we stopped drinking, I started waking up every day. You know, we didn't drink a lot, right? Just function, but I started waking up happy. I'm like, what's wrong with me, man? Why am I so happy all the time now? And it was alcohol, no doubt about it, dude.
Mhm.
A depressant to the max.
Yep.
That we've been taught to drink our whole fucking lives, but haven't even questioned it once, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, haven't even questioned it once.
And I'm a
Yeah.
big fucking like, I like craft beers and the way they taste
right,
because
right.
I like the taste of diversity, like
Yep.
hazy sours. You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I dig it.
Yeah.
But I've never had that alcoholism generational thing passed on to me.
Right.
I kind of knew that, like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
It was easy for me to stop. You know, I see some friends that, like, and people close to me that there's once you get that fucking train going, there's nothing stopping it. Like,
Yeah. You know, I can say we've all been on the train, right? We've all, I mean, I'm not going to speak for anybody else, but I've made some bad decisions under alcohol, man. And
Mhm.
some ones where I'm like, what the fuck was that, man? Holy shit. You know what I mean? Or, you know, so, you know.
you're hating yourself emotionally
It's
and
intense.
physically the next
Yeah,
day.
it's
Like,
intense.
what did I
It's
do? Oh
intense.
my god, my head hurts.
Yeah.
I was
So we're
always
just kind
like-
of rolling, right? No questions coming in. We're just kind of going
Yeah.
with the
No,
flow.
no
Okay.
questions.
Yeah.
No,
A
this
bunch
is
of people
good.
are saying what's
good.
up.
Good. Yeah. And you know, we could talk about recreational bills and stuff, and my data points on the recreational bills are like they failed in every state. I mean, it's plain and simple, man. They're too broad. They're too overreaching. They're too limited. They're too law enforcement heavy. They always have been. They always will, because they always want to have their part in it. You know what I mean? And that's a huge problem, man. So
They gotta get their hands in this cookie jar, dude. This cookie jar
we'll
is
give it to
big.
them. Our cookie jar, we're gonna run that shit. You
Yeah.
can have part of the cookie, but we're gonna give it to you. You're not gonna take it from us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can dabble. We'll share some cookies.
Yep.
I mean-
and we'll let you smoke some good weed while you're at it. So let's be clear about that.
I mean, the cops should be smoking weed, man.
oh man, dude.
Everybody should be smoking weed.
Yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't give them any White Widow on the job. They might freak out and shoot 'em.
Yeah, on the job, different story. But, bruh, if you come up with trace amounts in your blood or urine,
yeah.
fuck, you're fine.
Yeah,
Come
yeah,
on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, as a person, right, smoking weed when you get older, and a lot of us just learn, right, when you want to smoke, how you want to smoke, what place you want to smoke in, you know what I mean, what feels best for you. I'm a very light smoker nowadays, right, because I always feel like I'm always on the job, right, and I'm always, like, clear-headed, and as soon as I'm going to try this new wedding cake, man, I'm fucking super stoked, and then the helicopters are flying over the fucking, you know, the farm. I'm like, what the fuck was that, dude? That's some bad timing, so... Whoa, here we go again.
Fuck.
Yeah, so, you know, I think you find a place and time for that works for you in your life, you know what I mean? And I think that's the beautiful thing about it, you know, what does cannabis do for you? Was it spiritual for you? Is it relieve stress for you? You know what I mean? Does it relieve anxiety? You know what I mean? Does it help you with pain management? You know,
All of which are medicinal.
that's correct.
Even if you're having fun, that's still
Yeah.
a medicine.
I might need some more water up in this joint, man. You guys smoking me out. In this
Pass me your cup. I'll fill you up.
Ooh, man.
So one of you just talk for a minute since I can't
You know what's
switch.
funny?
Yabba-dabba-doo.
This is the one paper fatties. Russell Doan came over and I saved the fucking roach. Do you have it over there, Eric? Did you throw it away?
Yeah, wait, give me a second.
It was our record. It was the 4 paper fatty.
Oh, God.
It was. They all had that look. They're like, "Oh, are you fucking serious?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"We're here. Fuck, come on." And what led to that? Like peer pressure, or like what were we talking about? Like,
Wow.
if you're gonna do it, just fucking do it.
Well, it's 100% peer pressure because Mike wanted to leave, and then it was like, yeah, let's go. And then it was like, nah, let's stay.
Wow.
And it totally flipped the script. Hold on, let me go grab it.
It's a fucking trophy, man. Shout out to Russell Doan for hanging in there with us.
Jesus Christ,
He's a
that's a
trooper.
monster.
Yeah, check that out.
Wow, I feel like I'm back in Cheech and Chong in the 60s. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, this paper came from the album.
It did?
No, it didn't.
Oh,
It was
shit.
it was 4 papers glued together.
Wow. That is impressive, people. Wow. How'd it burn?
It got really hot towards the middle. Like,
It's got a huge filter in the back of
Fuck
it.
yeah.
But it was, I mean, it was even all the way down pretty much. It was, you know what I mean, as even as something that fat can be.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were no technical difficulties that I can remember.
Yeah, you don't want to burn a motherfucker with that thing.
Oh yeah, that's a really childhood fucking doozy.
What was that?
Yeah.
You know, like he put cigars out on me.
Oh.
It's like that's
Yeah.
a motherfucker. Yeah, the cherry was super hot. I could feel it in my eyes when I was puffing on it.
Yeah, it burns the lips
It
a
was
lot.
awesome. Anything that you want to address on the bill that you want people to make sure that they hear?
Yeah, I mean, let me pop into this real quick.
We can like
Um,
clip it.
Let's just uninstall this. Yeah, I mean, you know, guys, we got some good stuff going on here, and this is all about the people of Hawaii. You know what I mean? I can look at like, you know, the May medical numbers from just like 3 or 4 years ago before rec came in, and there was, you know, 259 caregiver retail stores statewide, guys. This is local owned shit. This is not cannabis industry jobs. This is local owned retail stores by the people of Hawaii, man, in your communities that are spreading this wealth, but also education. You know what I mean? There was, you know, 120,000 medical patients, man. I mean, this is way doable, you know, and this is it's a beautiful thing, and I'll keep saying that over and over again because it's utopic. But if we don't enter that realm and challenge these people, you know, we're not going to get anywhere. And if we're going to accept what they're throwing at us, like this Tarnas bill with rec bills and shit, I watched Tarnas write that, you guys. I watched what he did. I watched him take a trip to Massachusetts with the Attorney General to write that bill. Can you guys tell me honestly that if the Attorney General is involved in writing any fucking bill, it's going to be good for the people? Come on, man. This is law enforcement at its heaviest in Hawaii. That is the Attorney General. They are the lawmakers, man. And they are anti-cannabis, man. It's as simple as that. So, you know, that's where I'm at. There's crystal meth studies done behind this stuff. There's so much going on, guys. And, you know, I just want to plug, deschedule.earth. You know, they're kind of leading the way on this repealing cannabis to end abuse of power. The great correction begins, guys. Check these guys out, man. Deschedule.earth, man. They're ballers. They've got a lot of good direction for all of us, so we're not wasting our time on how to move forward. Obviously, we want to repeal cannabis, but we've got to take some steps before that just to get this Hawaii shit under control. So we are running this industry, not the state of Hawaii. It's the way it's got to happen, guys. Don't let these bills fool you, man. And please do your homework and talk to your friends. You know, so many people don't understand what this means. You know what I mean? Oh, legalize it. Fuck it. You know what I mean? I'm like, no. Wait a minute. You don't understand what's going on here, man. You know, and so that's the education that we have to provide even the normal people. You know, even like the Deadhead show that I had at the farm. I spent so much time communicating with people to explain to them what's going on, because for them, they're just buying some weed and enjoying life, right? But I'm like, you guys, the people that are providing you this weed are about to be arrested. You know, the people who are providing you this weed are about to be abused by law enforcement. The people that are providing you this weed are about to lose everything they have in life because of these poor-ass politics.
The people that's providing you this weed won't be providing you this weed.
That's right, man. That's right. You know, and so, you know, it's going to have to be loud, and it's going to get a little bit uncomfortable. But I think it's, you know, these Descheduled.earth, my clerk, Michael Plumhoff, he's the man, dude. And I call him a Sherpa, bro, because these guys are in it to win it, man. And our Hawaii politics is just part of it, right? It's got steps, state, federal, national levels. It's all got different levels here of how we're attacking these certain things, you know what I mean? So you don't feel like you're left alone, right? You know, we all feel like we're left alone here. We can't do shit. Well, I'm here to tell you guys, the Calvary's here, motherfuckers. It's happening, man. Descheduled.earth, it's on.
Is there any way that they could put together a summary and a cheat sheet where people could look over? Because I shout out to fucking May. She came in with this cheat sheet that had everything bullet points on, where it's like I could pull it up, I could read it, and it had everything that was on the bill and what was pertaining to me, and right there.
Yeah.
And that way it's digestible.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have a cheat sheet for the medical cannabis bill, you know what I mean?
Yep.
That's definitely easy. We can get that on Instagram. It's just a one-pager, you know what I mean? It's
Yep.
super simple, and it kind of just shares the energy with you, you know. We definitely have that. But I'll be honest with you, our main medical bill is only 80 pages, man. The fucking recreational bill was over 300, dude.
Yeah,
So,
I know.
come on, man. What's going on up in that shit?
That
man?
shit was
Come on, man.
I couldn't read that.
Yeah, dude. That's what they do, brother. That's what they do. They confuse you. Even when you read this bill, what's our bill again? SB
1429.
Fucking on it, man.
29.
Go in and read that bill and see if you even understand half of it about the law enforcement, and they can appeal and you can take you to court. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? I thought this was a caregiver thing we were just dealing with.
I
you know
read
what
it
mean?
and like there's a cloud of a hamster running
Man,
on a wheel.
dude. Oh yeah, dude.
There's fucking nothing going
Yeah.
on. I'm like,
Nothing
oh
except
my-
a happy hamster.
yeah, dude.
I mean, yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, yeah.
You can't expect
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
guy like me, a Joe Schmo.
And there's nobody explains it.
Nope.
So we're supposed to understand, wait, am I supposed to oppose this, or am I supposed to add information, or am I supposed to go against this? I want the caregiver part of this, but I don't want your fucked up part of the caregiver and the law enforcement, so what do I do here? You know what I mean? And you'll never figure it out, because that's the way they play the game, man. That's the way they play the game.
That's
yeah.
so rough.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
should be illegal for the politicians to do that.
Oh, dude. You know, I've had so many conversations with these guys now. And I was lobbying with Ernie Martin like 3 years ago, and I won't even tell you how much I paid that motherfucker to play the game to see, hey, what is this game all about, man? You know what I mean? If we lobby in as good people, does that mean we're going to get some good laws passed? Or is it the same old shit? You know what I mean? It's just fucking conniving, nasty, money-driven shit. You know what I mean? And, you know, just having all these conversations with these different people, I mean, I swear, man, it's just kind of like watching an arrogant person talk, right? They just talk right the fuck over you, man. And that's how all these motherfuckers are, man. I mean, there's very few that are like, you know, yeah. And there's some that are just too busy, like Awa. I fucking love to death. He's a fucking rebel and a half, and he probably gets himself in trouble more than he should. But when you sit down and talk to him, he listens, man. He understands you. He looks you in your eye like a fucking true Hawaiian and says, hey, I'm listening. Let's get this shit straight. Or if you talk to someone like a Gene Ward or someone like that, they're all like, hibbity skibbity hibbity hibbity, a black market. Wait a minute, dude. Let me explain the black market. Fucking game over. You know what I mean? What did you just learn from me? You're not talking about anything that's relevant what we're talking about, and you're fucking confusing everybody again. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's like, yeah. Yeah, but it's not It's not hopeless. And if I thought it was, I fucking moved a long time ago. So it's not hopeless. There's some good stuff going on here. We just got to get a hold of this caregiver and card stacking thing, they need to get the fuck off our backs on that shit and let us fucking roll. So yeah.
Ultimately, with the caregiver and the card stacking,
Yeah.
you are essentially building a rapport for the rec market, because they'll be like, "Are you capable of doing this?" Yes, I am. Here's my business model.
Right.
This is what I've been doing this
Right.
whole time, right?
Right.
So, it actually would be in their benefit to fucking allow it. Like, resisting during this pivotal time, like, whether or not rec hits on the federal level, but adult usage will. And if that's the case, like, if adult usage is coming down the pipe, it would be in Hawaii's best benefit to showcase what we can do already, so that we have something to present when this laws get passed.
Yeah, and I always go back to the medical thing, right, Kalei? I mean, it's the whole medical thing of how we're going to treat this plant. And, you know, if Hawaii stands on a medical program, right, and they stay there and lock it in, I don't give a fuck who you are, a tourist, whatever, man. You're not coming into our state without getting a medical card real quick and being part of our program that we built, not big business. So that's why you don't even need to go to rec. It's not even important, man. Anybody can come in 21 and over, I don't give a shit, and get a medical card in 2 hours online and ready to go shopping in Hawaii. We can build it like that, right? But keep it there. You know what I mean, man? Just keep it medical. Keep it so people understand, wow, what does medical mean? Medicinal. Oh, wow, medicinal means healing. Right. I mean, let's give this fucking plant all the respect in the world, man. So we don't even have to think about recreational. Like, recreational, what the fuck's recreational, motherfucker? What does that even mean? You know what I mean? I'm using it recreationally? No, you're using it for a reason, whether it's fucking to enjoy your fucking party or to fucking deal with stress. It's all fucking part of the game, man.
I would recommend, if we're going in that direction, I would recommend a horizontal market where farm-to-farm sales would be okay.
Everything, man. It's all there, Kalei.
Yeah.
It's all there,
that
brother.
would have to be
It's all there,
writing.
brother.
Yeah.
It's all there, brother. Yeah. It's all there, you know. That's the way it works, man. You know what I mean? If you have if you're a cultivator in Maine, you can sell cannabis to medical patients right out the door if you want.
Mhm.
Yep. But you see, the balance is, right, if you're a cultivator, do you want to take on the responsibility of dealing with lots of people, right, and still be able to run a cultivation? So now you've, like, upped your game a lot. What can you handle? And that's really all what it comes down to. You can open up a dispensary, but do you want to cultivate, entertain people, and open a dispensary and sell to people? You know, you can have a hash license. Do you want to cultivate, run hash? You can only
And
do
sell
so
it.
much, right?
Yeah.
And so you craft out. You're like, well, I feel good like I could run a dispensary. I feel like I'm a people person, right? Okay, man, you're the dispensary guy. Well, here's Grow Guru down the road, fucking growing some fucking crippy ass shit. He's your man you're getting your flower from. I got another boy down the road making rosin. He's getting my rosin. I got my edible chick down the road. She's my edible chick. Already, you're talking about 6 businesses already right there.
Mhm.
All being paid, all paying taxes, all doing their own thing.
Yeah.
There's 6 people already involved with one dispensary that are all owning their own businesses,
Mhm,
man.
mhm.
So so that's the way it is, man.
That that makes sense.
Yeah, man.
That's
It's
an
easy,
easy
man.
going, because
Yeah.
like, why would the state of Hawaii give a fuck if you're getting taxes paid? Like, it shouldn't
Yeah.
even fall under like a liquor commission or any of that shit, because the taxes are being paid.
Yeah.
Everything is safe.
Yeah.
Like,
And, we're talking about tax-paying dollars. We don't give a fuck it's cannabis. We're talking about you own a business and you're paying taxes. You want taxes or do you not?
right.
We don't give a fuck if it's cannabis or not. And we're telling you that right now. Leave us the fuck alone. Do you want taxes or you don't want taxes? I'm going to fucking build a killer donut shop. Do you want my fucking taxes or not? Do you want me? You know what I mean? So, that whole, not freeing the plant, and the whole, the cannabis, bullshit is really what's, stopping these guys from making these moves, right? They're scared. They're scared of the federal government. They're scared of all this shit. You know what I mean? They're scared of banking. You know what I mean? Where do people bank? I mean, where do our dispensaries bank? Nobody banks with cannabis money in Hawaii.
Nope.
Those motherfuckers are all going to Arvada, Colorado, dude. They're fucking hopping on planes and sending their money out. But that's not illegal,
shit.
right? That's not illegal. Cooperative farm can get raided up on the North Shore because, this, and this by the feds. And let's say they're saying, you're selling weed or you're banking bad or whatever whatever their bullshit is. But now we have dispensaries right next door that are selling weed to people.
Mhm.
It's federally illegal, dude. So what is the fucking hypocrisy here, motherfuckers?
Yeah, that jurisdiction of it being federal is kind of a two-sided coin, bro.
Yeah, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
We're going to get involved with this, with jury appears and shit. Let's play this fucking game. I'm ready, man. Let's roll. You know what I mean? Because it's so hypocritical now that these motherfuckers can't do this shit anymore. I'm like, it's done, dude. You know?
It's too blatant.
Yeah, it's blatant. Your time is up. Get the fuck out the way, man. Please.
Yeah, that was kind of a fucking shiesty thing. If you think about it being federal, and yeah, it's illegal, but you're ignoring the elephant in the room, which are these, how much stores on island? 7 stores? Hello?
Yeah.
You know? If it was a state thing, I could see we can't argue as hard.
If you wanted to look real cool busting people, you could have went to 8 different dispensaries and had a real fun photo shoot for the fucking world to see.
You know, when those motherfuckers came up into my joint, man, I'm like, y'all heading to the dispensaries next, I hope. We ain't going to be no fucking, hypocrisy going on here, are we? I'm like, let's roll. If we wiping this whole motherfucking thing off the map because of fucking Schedule 1, let's make this a fucking even Steven thing, you know what I mean? And, they're just like, well, we just... Mr. Hanley, your case is very unusual. I'm like, okay, that's what I thought, motherfuckers. Yeah, it's
that's
unusual, all right.
That's a fucking improper fucking wording right there. Unusual?
Unusual.
That's vague, fool. Like, let me see what's going on with your unusual shit on paper.
Yeah.
Let me see unusual written on that fucking paper.
Yeah, man.
Nah.
Yeah. Pretty crazy shit. Yeah, pretty crazy
I'm sorry
shit.
that happened to you, dude.
No, it's, man, I don't think anybody could imagine it was going to happen, to be honest with you. My whole view of that was... If the state's not happy with what I'm doing, they're going to give me a compliance. They're going to tell me to stop doing what we're doing. I let them on my farm. I've had the governor on my farm. I had the lieutenant governor on my farm. I had everybody on my fucking farm besides fucking Snoopy, I can't find that motherfucker.
You had Montel Williams on your
man.
fucking farm.
I had the Department of Tax Law Enforcement on my farm buying T-shirts and reporting back to the task force team. Well, Jason's got something going on there. It's like a rent where he... they reimburse for the flour, there's money being exchanged, It's all right there in fucking testimony, dude, 3 years ago. What the fuck's the problem here? You know what I mean? But, there's a lot of reasons we think that happened, you know what I mean? And we really think we're involved with possibly a felon of some type of person that was had some heat on themselves and caused a lot of chaos and just kind of dragged us down the drain with them. So, but it is what it is.
Ugh.
It didn't get any extra help, though, with... Department of Law Enforcement and Narcotics Enforcement Division being on my land. It didn't get any helping hands on that one. So yeah, a lot of chaos that ensued after that on whether we should be on Jason's farm or not. And I think a lot of that was made locally, those decisions. So.
You think there's going to be any changes in the dynamic of the farm after everything?
I mean, I don't even know. Yeah, that's a good question. You know what I mean, man? I mean, we're just trying to.
As far as how you operate, knowing that these guys are fucking doing things that are hypocritical and possibly, like, if you would want to say, unconstitutional, right?
Yeah. I think if they would have arrested me and charged me, it'd be a whole different story, right? And then we'd have went to court and ripped the shit out of their assholes, you know what I mean? So I already knew that, man. I didn't open this farm up because I'm a fucking criminal, first of all, you know what I mean? I knew what I was doing. I had checked all the boxes of what I was doing and understood what was going on with the laws and compensation and shit and having leases on the land and fucking multi-cards and everybody like kumbaya fucking yah, whether you're growing or not. We don't really give a shit. This is a medicine farm. That's what we're trying to do, We had all those box checks. So when that happened, it was really just mind-boggling, to be honest with you. And so, but, the funny thing is when you don't arrest a person, and you just take away all their shit and don't give them an explanation, you don't give them any journey on that, why that just happened, then you have to believe yourself that something's illegal here, something's wrong.
I saw that on an episode of Narcos once when just came in and just fucking decimated this guy's operation, right?
Bro. Yeah.
That's essentially what happened.
Yeah. They took everything, man.
Federale style,
Took
dude.
everything. And the thing was, it wasn't just the federales there, though, right? It was multitask. You had Homeland Security, you had Narcotics Enforcement Division.
What was Homeland Security there for?
They were running the show, man.
Huh?
They were the ballers. Yep.
In what operation did you jeopardize the security of the homeland?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I mean, that's the question. That's
what the fuck, man.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah.
I could see the police coming on, maybe SWAT.
Yeah.
Maybe SWAT.
Yeah. Well, DEA, right?
Or
if you're going after drugs, which is what you're considering this
but that's federal.
Yeah.
And you would think that someone would be like, I'm double dipping the chip if I'm going after this guy and not these guys.
Yeah.
So like to cover all your avenues and cross your T's and dot your I's, you would think that the police, the state task force would be the ones showing up to your farm, not this federal shit.
Yeah. And they had tried before, and they couldn't get on. You know, we stopped letting them on our farm a long time ago because they were doing illegal compliance and scaring people and shit, you know. So, and we felt good about it. I was like, okay, you know, I would share that information with everybody. Don't let these motherfuckers on your farm without a warrant. They're not allowed on there. It's voluntary compliance, man. Stop. Right. Keep these people off your farm, dude. I started doing that years ago, right? You know, because we learned, right?
Why are the police doing compliance checks anyway? It should be Department of Health, right?
Yep, it should be.
Someone to know what they're looking. I've literally saw on my consulting compliance checks while I'm there,
right?
And the police don't even know. Like the guy had the same fucking number, and I was like, I advise you against this. But if you're gonna do this, fucking let her ride. Compliance check. He didn't catch it. They're just looking for a tag on a plant.
Yeah.
Like you're not checking.
Because it's ubiquitous. It's stupid, right? You know what I mean? It's like, and that's the ubiquitous laws that DOH and the state has made. That's why we keep fighting all this stuff. I'm like, this does not use common sense. If you were in the kingdom in the late 1800s, King Kamehameha III would have called you a fucking idiot, and you'd be fucking out. You'd be gone, dude. Idiots got to get out, man. And so this is idiotic behavior. It's not professional, and so, you know, that's how we're dealing with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, when our thing happened, you know, they released, you know, they started tightening up, you know, their verbiage of what it means to have your own plants. Well, each person must water their own plant. They must not you cannot touch another person's plant. I'm like, oh my God, dude.
Again, it comes down to enforcement. How are you going to enforce someone not watering your plant?
Right. Yeah.
What if it had an automated watering system?
Yeah.
So it comes down to the individual who presses the button?
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you what they're trying to get to, right, is there's no way multi-card sites can get to do that, right? You know, you're starting to get more and more people, so they want accountability from these people that they're growing, right?
Okay.
That's not what we want. We just want people to get medicine. If you want to grow with us, and you want to volunteer with us, and you want to fucking get your ass whooped in the Waialua sun, then let's do it, right? Mm-hmm. But that's what they're trying to track that accountability so they can stop it from happening, right? That's what they're doing, you know? I mean, if I tell them, hey, you know, if I make a general ubiquitous statement that you must water your own plants, then there's no way, you know, Jason's got 1,000 people watering their own plants or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But then you're like, wait a minute, isn't that some dumb shit? You know
I can pick so much holes in that fucking
exactly,
that language right there. It's unreal.
Well, and it'll never hold up in a court of law, and that's the problem, right? You know, the 329 law itself is pretty much unconstitutional. Mike Ruggles proved that like 8 years ago when he won his case on Big Island, right? You know what I mean? There's so much general bullshit information about how you can do, you know, pay someone for cannabis for growing for you or whatever, you know, and then all of a sudden, well, no, what we're telling you is dispensary laws in place, and anybody who's selling cannabis that's not a dispensary selling is a criminal. I'm like, okay, well, you want to define selling for us now then? Is that what the fuck we're doing here? Because, you know, it's ridiculous, you know what I mean? So
yeah, if you want to define selling, it's pretty fine print.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know, and this is the, you know, the vicious system at work. You know what I mean? That's the way it works, man.
I thought the politicians were here to protect domestic, you know, what is the word? Interests. Right?
Yeah.
So like cartel money, fucking importation, you know, like that brings the illegal, the crime, all that shit. Like,
yeah. Well, unfortunately, the politicians are the cartel, brother. And when we use the word cartel, it's not so much as a gang that kills people, right? Our cartel is a group of people that's controlling the society and the politics and the money and everything, you know. And that's, if you look at the state of Hawaii and the government and what they're doing and what they've done for the last 100 years for the local people of Hawaii, it's a cartel. You know what I mean, man? There's no doubt about it, man. I'm like, you know, you're having to buy your shit back from, you know, whoever, Castle Cook, whoever the fuck that is. It's a cartel, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, man? It's already been established. So how do you beat this cartel system, or how do you change this system to say, hey, we're moving on from this system, guys. This has been broken long enough, and you're actually starting to see more shootings and more people getting hurt and stuff. And now we've got a lot more data that's suggesting that your system you're running here is really breaking us even more than you've already fucking broke us. So yeah,
Fuck.
yeah.
No spit, no lube, bro.
Yeah.
That's what's been happening.
Yeah, and I think, you know, that's where the compassion comes in at, man. You have to understand the compassion of what everybody's been through here on this island for, you know, a fucking long time, and you better understand it. And that's why I don't.
You have to live here to understand it too,
man. You do. Hey, man, no doubt about it. You'll pass by a sovereignty sign as a tourist, and you go, "What's the big fucking deal?" And then when you fucking spend your time here and hanging out with people, you'll fucking get it real quick.
Yeah,
man. Yeah. It's pretty upsetting and sad, and it's been happening for so long that it's time to change, man.
It's like you ever read about I'm sure you read about it, but like people out there is like the Trail of Tears.
Fuck yeah, man.
It's kind of a slow progression of that if you think about it. Like we were all here and now we're not.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same end story.
It's the same shit, man. No doubt about it.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. And look how many of our families, and are off this island, right?
100%.
Never even had a chance to even fucking live here, grow up, and fucking have jobs. I'm like, the fuck is that, man? You know what I mean, man? I'm like, nobody wants to move to the mainland. I mean, you might want to kick it over there and find a cool job every once in a while, but you want to leave this place when this is your ohana, this is your family, this is your people. You know what I mean? Who wants to fucking leave that, man?
I'd go up there for the snowy seasons and shit, go snowboard, and come back home. It's totally fun.
Man, I got a great story. We just got back from Big White. We went out to British Columbia to go visit my son, right? And I'm in the bar up there, right? And I got to do a shout out to this guy, but I'm gonna forget his name. And we're in the bar. They're just getting some lunch, with some dinner with my son, his girlfriend, my new son, and my wife, right? And this fucking chick hits me in the bathroom. She goes, "Hey, man, are you Buddy J?" And I'm like, "What the fuck is going on, man?" She's like, "Dude, my boyfriend, I'm going to find his link, man, because I got to plug him, dude. It's an Instagram link. It was like joint or something like that." He's like, "They've all been watching you in Oregon, man. They're following you." I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here." And the guy comes out, and he's like, "Fucking honored to meet you." And it was just the fucking weirdest.
Nice.
British Columbia, Oregon, fucking snowboarding, and this guy finds me in there. Only night I go out to eat dinner one night. And we fucking clicked. You know what I mean, man? It's fucking,
that's your outreach, my friend.
It was fucking insane, man. And
Cool.
That's sometimes then you realize, hey, it is hitting people. You know what I mean, man? Sometimes you don't think it is, man. You feel like you're alone in this world sometimes. You know what I mean, man? And then other times, someone does it like that, and you're just like, that is fucking the coolest shit ever that's happened to me in my life. That's badass, man.
Yeah, man.
That's badass, man.
That's good blessings when people recognize the work you do and they're not even from here and they're following suit.
Just insane, man.
Yeah, man. That's cool. I know when I was in Massachusetts, I had this fucking talk with this other grower. And it was such a cool conversation that I had with him. And it was like, fuck, who would have thought across the goddamn country, I'm jiving with you, dude. And it's so cool and organic. And what we're talking about was a plant. That's
fucking
so
ridiculous,
fucking awesome, man. I love it.
Fucking ridiculous, man.
Boston next November. Is there? You coming or what, Eric?
What?
The Harvest Cup.
Probably not.
What?
Where's that at?
Worcester, Massachusetts.
Oh, Massachusetts. Yeah. The Harvest Cup. Yeah. Your boy does that. Dynasty does that one all the time.
Yeah, he invited me last year to go out there, so I helped him out there at his booth. And
you went?
It was fucking so much fun.
Yeah, man.
I'll never get over that cannoli. Shout out to
that's awesome.
Mr. Boston Mike over there, fucking turning me on to a cannoli. Oh, dude.
That's ridiculous.
It's a fucking another level. You ever had a cannoli?
Mm-hmm. My wife's Italian, bro.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Where'd you get it from here?
In Ohio.
Oh, in Ohio?
Yeah, in
okay,
Ohio.
I bet there's some pretty cool cannolis over there.
Yeah, there's a little Italy.
I went over there. The guy had a fucking wife beater. I'm like, we're in the right place. The
Jesus.
Italian guy with his fucking, he had a wife beater on.
They probably was looking at you like how we look at tourists here who throw aloha shirts and do that kind of stuff. Like this fucker coming over here with his wife beater, and you
No,
can go.
I didn't have a wife beater.
Oh.
He had a wife
I
beater.
thought you meant you
and he had a
wife.
fucking gold chain.
Yeah.
So he
You
was
felt right.
as Italian as they come, and I'm like, I'm in the right place. Mike brought me here, and I'm like, fucking cannoli me, buddy. And he got me this fucking cream cheese cannoli. It was a salted caramel. Fuck it, dude, I never had anything like that before.
Yeah, they're good.
I'm going back. I'm getting it.
They're good.
Fucking cannolis.
I wanted to try a fucking Boston pizza too. That's on my next one.
Yeah.
I hate to be so touristy, but
and you're right next to Maine. Boston, to where I was getting some of my fat ass medicine from Kind Guys in Bedford, is literally 3 hours away, dude.
Oh yeah.
You'll fucking hop into Maine. You'll be like, what the fuck just happened? What is going on here?
Oh
dude?
man.
Yeah.
When I think of Maine, I think about Casper, the movie, because it was in Maine. and it was so beautiful.
What's Casper, the friendly ghost?
Yeah, that
okay.
fucking with Christina Ricci was in that one, right?
Oh.
Yeah, man. And it was in Maine, and it was like so fucking beautiful during fall. I'm like, I want to see
feel so
that.
bad I can't find that guy's IG. He was the fucking man, dude.
Shout out to the OG with the fucking
OG
outreach,
from
man.
Oregon, man. I know it was like blunt or joint or something, motherfucker, and I can't find it, brother. I'm sorry, man. You're the man, though.
Hit up Everyone Knows You're High if you're watching this, and
Yeah,
tag yourself. We got you, buddy.
Yeah, that was Big White. We met up in the club there,
We'll
man.
throw you a shirt, too. Just hit us up on the DM.
Yeah, you made my whole year, motherfucker. You made my whole year. Thank you. Thank you.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Alright.
it was fun. It was fun.
Shall we wrap it up?
Yes, sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right,
Last plug ups. Anything you want to shout out?
Yeah, man. I'm gonna tell you guys this podcast stuff is super important too, guys. And I know you guys started this and on a nickel and a dime and a whim, and this is gonna make some big differences, guys. And I know, we spend a lot of time here talking about a lot of things, but don't force us to get serious because we will. You know what I mean? Everybody knows you're high, and I'm stoked to be here. And you guys are the brothers. Stoked to be here. Love you guys.
Man.
Yeah.
Honored to have you here.
Yeah,
and,
man.
All right. So
Where can people find you on Instagram? Tell them where they can get information.
You can find me on the, if you're ever crossing the border with Homeland Security, I'm the motherfucker sitting in there for 2 hours, keeping an eye on me. So you can always find me at any Homeland Security office crossing the border. You can find me on Instagram, _Waialua. Our kind of like cannabis alliance is a Wahoo Cannabis Farm Alliance. I think it's oahuafka.org. You'll find it easy. Check out deschedule.earth, please. These guys are ballers. They're going to lead the way for us. Sherpas in the making to repeal cannabis and get this shit back to our ag properties and having fun, guys. This shit's got to go. I think that's all the Instagrams and shit I have, man. I can't think of anything. Call my ass, 808-224-0510. That motherfucker's open all day. Text me, please. So.
Damn, there you go, man.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Shout out of a lifetime. How about you, Mister?
Let me know after the fact if you want me to beep that. just in case.
So Erik Kawasaki, who you
You can follow me on Instagram and wherever you get your podcast, Voices from the Planet. There's a plethora of past episodes you can go enjoy while I take a extended break from doing that.
Yeah. And if you want that sexy voice offline, it's going to cost you. So.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out Voices from the Planet on Patreon.
Me for voiceover work for your male gay sex phone lines.
Wow.
I'll just
critique your demographic.
Thank you for calling the Grow Gurus. No, just kidding. Anyway, go ahead, Kalei.
Gurus Grow Supply on IG. Hit me up, the Grow Guru Hawaii and thegurusgrow.com. Get all your supplies here. And coming out with the Aloha Seed Vault. We're just kind of having a one-stop shop for a bunch of genetics and people I believe in. So I'm gonna have an online shop for that too. So if people want to shop for genetics, I'll have everything plugged
What about
up
clones?
right there.
You can start mailing clones. That shit's happening all over the place.
I was
now.
thinking about taking one step further and going tissue culture and trying to see what tissue culture does because the legal side of things, So I have a couple buddies that do tissue cultures really well, and I think that although you can't get rid of everything, I think that's a good way to transmit genetics without taking the bugs and shit like that. You know what I mean?
For sure.
I want to try down that avenue, but first things first, seed genetics. Because I believe in, like, if you find your keeper of the cut, that's yours. That's your signature, you know.
Right.
That's your hallmark. So I promote people to find their own. Yeah. That way you have your own stable cut that's not hunted from someone else that doesn't have a tag from someone else.
Does that mean I can't get a cut of that Vader OG, motherfucker?
You can get a cut.
We used to do cuts a long time ago, man.
Yeah, man. Dude, fucking.
Shout out to Grow Guru,
bro.
dude. He's been in this for a long time. We've grown together. I met this motherfucker when I was growing small time, man. It was fun, man. Good guy. Good guy.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
you.
Good guy.
So shout out to our sponsors, Mills Pays the Bills. Check them out, millspaysthebills.com. Our IG, Mills Pays the Bills.
That's our boy in Michigan still, right, Mills? Our boy?
That's Big Ben.
Big Ben.
Yeah, Big Ben. Shout out to
forever,
Big
dude.
Ben. I'm
Shout
trying
out
to get him on the
Ben.
podcast. They have a new organic line coming out. It actually came out already, so I had some samples. I've been fucking flying them out at the expo. So
missed that guy.
Those dudes who got the organic line are the very first ones that got Mills organic lines.
Big Ben's a pimp.
Dude, Big
We
Ben's
love Big
awesome,
Ben, dude.
man.
He's a fucking good guy.
I
Man.
want to have him on. His interesting conversations.
Yeah, we got to get him out here for the festival or something. He hasn't made any expos or nothing lately,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. They've been busy, man.
Michigan's busy.
Yeah. Mills in general has been busy. So shout out to the boys for fucking digging down deep. Also, shout out to the #1 clothing company of all, Pakalolo Farmers, Antiferin, Uncle Kaika. Check them out, pakalolofarmers.com.
I know those guys. They're pretty cool.
They're awesome. They're awesome. Who else, Eric?
Hybrid Collective in Kamuki for all your heady pieces and affordable pieces. Show them again, Kalei.
Another Jason in the house.
Yep. Shout out to Brother Jay.
Brother Jay.
Yep, Hybrid Collective. Go check them out on Waialua. Also, Print Shop Hawaii for all your printing needs.
Also, shout
Is
out
that my
to
print shop up in Waialua? That's my
Yes,
boy.
sir.
That's
my
my
boy.
Brother Kona.
Yeah,
He
Brother
said,
Kona.
what's up?
Yeah.
Shout out to Brother Nate over here from Proact Solutions.
Always.
Your lighting needs, solar
Proact
needs,
products.
Proact products.
Proact
Sorry.
Products Hawaii.
Products.
That man goes above and beyond, dude.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
he's a
Goes
very
above
friendly
and beyond,
dude,
man.
and he has a passion for what he does. So
Yep.
you can't deny the guy, man.
Can't deny that shit.
Mm-mm.
Yep. And Meat Lux for all your Wagyu and beefy needs.
You heard it from Eric, man.
Let me know
Yeah.
if you need me to do a commercial with this sexy
That's
voice
the
for your
voice,
meat
right?
commercial.
I knew he was going there with that.
Interested
fucking-
in your
yeah.
beefy needs.
Are you into Wagyu?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. That's
And,
that's a
man,
modern day Barry White right there.
Holy cow. I didn't know what to
And
do with
Brutal Mars Arts
Shout out to Brutal Mars Arts
for all
doing our
your
logo.
graphic design needs. And that is all. The long
Sweet.
list. If you want to get yourself on the list of sponsors, hit us up.
It doesn't take much.
It's an ever-growing list. Just hit us up in the DMs. But yeah, thank you, Jay, for coming on.
Thank you.
that. I love you guys, man.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, man. You guys are the shit. Yeah.
Anytime you want to come back on and
Took
talk
a little while
about.
to get back over here, but we got it.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you have anything you want to say too, just come
Yep.
back on. You're good, dude.
Easy peasy.
Give us
Yeah.
a call. Any emergency meetings we need to have. Let's
Nice.
Let's do it.
That's what we like to hear. Yep.
All right, brother.
All right,
Thank you
guys
again.
take it easy.
Clap it out, Kalei.